the Coca-Cola formula will remain a closely guarded secret. Hidden for more than 500 years now, Montezuma's treasure, in truth, may never be seen. And unless you're Japanese royalty, you'll never set eyes on what's inside the Ise Grand Shrine. But when it's time to obtain the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components for design, Mouser always gives you full, unrestricted access. Let us be your guide in exploring a world full of technology and innovation.
When you want to do something big, you dream, you plan, you take measure of yourself and the challenge in front of you. You put in the work, and you put on your game face. That's the road to success. Leave nothing to chance. At Mouser, we know a thing or two about going big. Partnering with over 1,200 leading electronic component brands and helping them expand into markets around the globe has made us the fastest growing distributor in the industry. Maintaining the world's widest selection of inventory, embracing sophisticated warehouse automation, having local customer sales representatives capable of answering your questions about a product, its availability, or the status of an order. Well, that's just what we do at Mouser. We've made the commitment to remain the leader in new product introductions and to develop the productivity tools that make buying from us the thing over 650,000 customers have made a habit. Because at Mouser, we leave nothing to chance.
We are connected by more than commerce. Your ingenuity, your passion to create is helping drive our growth. And the technological advancements you've either designed or inspired are fast becoming integral components in the automation of Mouser's logistical operations. Sensing, motor control, mobile scanning, IoT, machine learning, robotics. All technologies you, the engineer, have designed, we use in our global distribution center to stock more products, consolidate more orders more accurately, and ship faster than ever. So thank you for all that you do and for developing all the innovations that allow us to continue to better serve your needs.
There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Z could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Z could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. No matter where you roam, you'll encounter places you can't access. Brave Norway's Arctic temperatures to venture inside the global seed vault, and you'll instantly be turned away. There's also no chance of getting past the guards at Buckingham Palace to dine with the king. While your thirst may be quenched, the Coca-Cola formula will remain a closely guarded secret. Hidden for more than 500 years now, Montezuma's treasure, in truth, may never be seen. And unless you're Japanese royalty, you'll never set eyes on what's inside the Ise Grand Shrine. But when it's time to obtain the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components for design, Mouser always gives you full, unrestricted access. Let us be your guide in exploring a world full of technology and innovation.
When you want to do something big, you dream, you plan, you take measure of yourself and the challenge in front of you. You put in the work, and you put on your game face. That's the road to success. Leave nothing to chance. At Mouser, we know a thing or two about going big. Partnering with over 1,200 leading electronic component brands and helping them expand into markets around the globe has made us the fastest growing distributor in the industry. Maintaining the world's widest selection of inventory, embracing sophisticated warehouse automation, having local customer sales representatives capable of answering your questions about a product, its availability, or the status of an order. Well, that's just what we do at Mouser. We've made the commitment to remain the leader in new product introductions and to develop the productivity tools that make buying from us the thing over 650,000 customers have made a habit. Because at Mouser, we leave nothing to chance.
We are connected by more than commerce. Your ingenuity, your passion to create is helping drive our growth. And the technological advancements you've either designed or inspired are fast becoming integral components in the automation of Mouser's logistical operations. Sensing, motor control, mobile scanning, IoT, machine learning, robotics. All technologies you, the engineer, have designed, we use in our global distribution center to stock more products, consolidate more orders more accurately, and ship faster than ever. So thank you for all that you do and for developing all the innovations that allow us to continue to better serve your needs.
Hi everyone. We are going to start
There
in
are
a couple
many
of minutes'
places in
time.
the world
I
where
request
your
everyone,
access
people
is
outside, to come inside and settle down. Thank you.
So Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Z could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Z could remain lost forever. Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. No matter where you roam, you'll encounter places you can't access. Brave Norway's Arctic temperatures to venture inside the global seed vault, and you'll instantly be turned away. There's also no chance of getting past the guards at Buckingham Palace to dine with the king. While your thirst may be quenched, the Coca-Cola formula will remain a closely guarded secret. Hidden for more than 500 years now, Montezuma's treasure, in truth, may never be seen. And unless you're Japanese royalty, you'll never set eyes on what's inside the Ise Grand Shrine. But when it's time to obtain the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components for design, Mouser always gives you full, unrestricted access. Let us be your guide in exploring a world full of technology and innovation.
When you want to do something big, you dream, you plan, you take measure of yourself and the challenge in front of you. You put in the work, and you put on your game face. That's the road to success. Leave nothing to chance. At Mouser, we know a thing or two about going big. Partnering with over 1,200 leading electronic component brands.
Hi everyone, good morning. I can't hear you. Very good morning. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for coming all the way, beating the traffic. I know today is not a regular day in Pune, but thank you so much for coming all the way and attending the event. So we'll quickly start off the event, and I'll talk about the agenda of today. So we'll start with Mouser corporate presentation, and then we'll move on to a keynote advice from Mr. Ahmed, CEO. And then we'll move on to the innovation in automation from Molex, and then we'll have a quick break. And followed by, we'll have Tayo Yoden's update on supporting automation innovation, and then future of EV from Belfuse. And then last we have update from Analog Device. And also we have open house Q&A session in the end. So we will go through the sessions completely. Whatever questions that you have, you can park it aside, and then we have allocated dedicated time. You can have question and answer sessions at that time itself, just to manage the show effectively. So it's a 4-city IoT roadshow that we are conducting, and we are starting with Pune, and we are next is in Ahmedabad, and then moving to Chennai and Bangalore. So, as you know, Mouser is a global company. So if anybody interested to join Mouser, you can always connect us. We have our beautiful team sitting here. I would like to introduce Payal, who's taking care of marketing, and Rishikesh Das. We have Saurabh, and we have Nazneen, Rahima out here. If you have any questions, you can reach out to our team anytime. Thank you. Mouser All right, so what is Mouser? How many of you are aware of Mouser Electronics? Thank you so much. Who is not aware of Mouser Electronics? Very, very few. Okay. So as you all aware about Mouser, I'll just give you the brief what we do and what are we enhanced ourselves over a period of time. So we are basically a new product introduction distributor. So what are we doing? We are known as a catalog distribution service provider company, and we are essentially e-commerce company who helps customers to buy components through online. And we are part of Berkshire Hathaway Group, who's chairman by Mr. It's a part of TTI group of companies, which is part of Berkshire Hathaway Group. And we are financially sounding good and successful, growing much faster as per the industry current trend. And then talking about Mouser's TTI family of business, we have TTI, Mouser Electronics, Sager, Exponential Technology, and then Pampered Shop. These are the companies comes under TTI group of companies. Geographically, we are present in all over the globe. So we are present in American unit, and then we are available in European region and Asia Pacific. And talking about Asia, we have two branches in India, one in Bangalore, another one in Pune. As you know, India is growing faster in electronic industry. So everybody's eye is on India to expand the business all over India. Currently, we have two branches. We are planning to expand in additional cities like Delhi and Chennai as well in near future. All right, so this is the main function that we operate from Mouser. This is our warehouse located in Texas, Mansfield. So what basically we do is we have 1,200 plus manufacturers with whom we are the authorized distributor of, and we buy components from them proactively, store it in the warehouse, and then we reflect them in our website for all of you to buy components from. So we are trying our best to do the ease of doing business by providing best-in-class service. How we are doing it? We maintain more than 1 million unique parts readily available in our warehouse, which reflects in our website, helps you to buy the components. And also we ship 21,000 orders every day. That's our daily shipment that we do it. And then we ship any order that you are booking today, it gets shipped out same day at 8 p.m. cutoff US time. That's the maximum fast service that we are providing. And then we also have done 7.6 billion components shipped out last year, and we are trying to expand this number even further. So talking about the expansion plan, so if you look at the last 25 years, we have been expanding rapidly. The recent expansion that we have is the green ones that you are seeing. This expansion is almost like a double the size of the current warehouse. The current warehouse is holding more than 1 million unique parts. The additional one is going to double the size, which means that the availability of parts is going to be increasing from Mouser, and this will become, basically this is going to become one-stop shop for all of you to purchase parts through our website. And we also have a strong logistics partner and also a customer service team based out of all over the region and also in India. However, anytime if you need any kind of support where you want to talk to us, you can reach out to our team in Pune as well as in Bangalore. And if you have teams outside India, you can reach out to our other branches as well. And in terms of logistics partner, we have tied up with all the global logistics partners like DHL, UPS, and FedEx, who can help you in delivering the orders faster. We also have options of buying options into USD, as well as recently we have launched INR shipment, which helps you to buy orders even if you don't have export-import license. You can buy it in GST invoice. So this is our new warehouse, which is under construction. It's almost in the completion stage, and then we'll start storing components in this warehouse. All right, so what do we do as a Mouser? Where do we fit in as a Mouser in this industry? As you know, this industry is split with a huge ecosystem. And where Mouser stands is basically we come under the requirement from the product concept, R&D, and then embedded development, circuit design, prototype, engineering, and also from small and mid production requirement. So the reason why we are focusing more into this segment is, as I said, we proactively buy the components from our suppliers, store it in our warehouse, make it readily available for you. This includes short, fast-moving as well as long-tail parts, because the whole objective of our business model is to meet your demand. So whatever designs that you're doing, we are trying to help you to fulfill your requirements. If you send bill of material for your any kind of development boards, we are trying to help you to meet at least 80 to 90% of the requirement. So Mouser not just selling the components, we also take care of introducing the new parts. So last year alone, we have done 69,000 new parts introduction into our portfolio, and we have created 4,000 microsites, which talks about the product, technical aspects, and functionalities. And those activities have helped 16 million page views across India, and these are especially the designing people like you who gets benefited out of this. If you look at the market comparison, we stand double the size in terms of new product introduction and in terms of providing technical guidance compared to our closest competitors. So, talking about technical resources, what do we have in our website? If you subscribe to Mouser website, you will get a lot of additional benefit, not just on the component side. You will also get to know more about industry trend, technology trend, and new product application guidance. You can also get information about engineering and educational information. And then we have 4,000 technical resources. Last year we had 1.6 million unique visitors visiting this webpage, and then we had 2.6 million views last year alone. So you can subscribe and get benefited out of this. All right, key takeaways. As I said, Mouser is not just focusing on the component side. We are also doing marketing for our suppliers. So we take care of marketing of the new products, and then we are the leading distributor for NPIs, focusing on design and engineering, R&D segment. And Mouser also supposed to select for new legacy products. As I said, we just not focus on the fast-moving product. We also take care of legacy and long tail, because we wanted to make sure that your requirements get fulfilled, even if it is for a later time as well. And Mouser connects with millions of products and technical resources. We also have done shipments to more than 900,000 customers globally. So we are available in social media pages like Facebook and LinkedIn. You can scan this and get us connected. All right, this is it from Mouser end, and I'll move on to the next topic of discussion. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to invite Mr. Rishikesh Kamath, CEO of Shalaka Technologies, to give his speech, please. Please give a big round of applause to Mr. Rishikesh Kamath.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so the topic that I am going to cover is something very futuristic. So ADAS is something that the automotive industry is right now focusing on. But going one step ahead, we'll look at what we talk about vehicle to everything communication. So before that, a quick introduction about myself. My name is Rishikesh Kamath. I'm the founder and CEO of Shanaka Connected Devices. We are a small design house. We focus on R&D projects more specifically. So most of the work that we have done is based on technologies ahead of its curve. So that's my background. I'm an electronics engineer myself. And apart from this, I also love automotive engineering per se. I'm a motorcycle rider myself. So automotive is something that's very close to my heart. So that's why I decided that this would be a good topic to cover. Okay, so let's look at the big picture first. So mobility is no longer just motion. So if you look back in the days, cars focused mostly on the engines, on the drivetrain, on its build, on how it looked, how it performed, and so on. But then as decades passed, cars got refined. We started looking at different alternatives to the classic fueling. We started looking at different ways in which car could become smart. So one is we started looking at EVs. So EVs, so you replaced the ICE, that is your internal combustion engines that run on petrol and diesel, and we moved to battery-based movement. So we started looking at batteries and motors being connected to drive the vehicle and so on. The second is we changed the way cars perceived around us. So let's take a simple case. You're driving on a highway and you had to look for a speed limit. So you see a 80 kilometer pass by or a 30 kilometer pass by, you had to be alert. We pass that perception to the car now. So cars have cameras and they detect particular signboards as you pass them. So let's say you are passing the highway, there is a 80 kilometer mark, the car reads it and puts it on your dashboard. So your perception of the environment is now being switched to a digital perception. So in ADAS, you start looking at lane management. So whether you are swerving out of the lane or not, whether you are maintaining the lane. You looked at adaptive cruise control. So if the car ahead in front of you starts slowing down, your cruise control mode also slows you down. The car moves fast, you go back to your original speed. So that's the layer ADAS worked on, where your perception was being digitized. And then we are looking at V2X. So V2X, which is vehicle to everything, is now perception in a collaborative manner. So it's not only my car that's going to collect data, but it's going to share it ahead. So just like, so when we go for motorcycle rides, we usually have a communicator with us. So two people who are, let's say 50, 60 meters apart, keep talking to each other, telling, okay, there's a truck standing here, there are cops on the road, or some message gets verbally passed between us. Similarly, your automotive vehicles can now start picking information and start passing it ahead. So sometimes it must have happened to anybody who drives on the highway. Suddenly a car moves on the left and you realize there is something dead, zero stopped at the right lane. So what if this information was known to me before my eyes could see it? So that's what V2X kind of focuses on. You're on a corner or you're on the highway, suddenly a pedestrian walks in the middle. V2X will help you realize that before your eyes or your ears hear it, your eyes see it. That's the fundamental or benefit that vehicle to everything communication will give. So what is vehicle to everything communication? Now everything can be subdivided into multiple parts. So one is vehicle to vehicle communication. So messages can be passed to other vehicles. So fleets can move equidistant from each other. If an ambulance is coming, right before you hear or see it, your car knows that an ambulance is going to cross your path. So you are well aware of it ahead of the time. So it's basically two vehicles talking to each other, sudden braking, speed changes, lane changes, whatever it may be. The second is vehicle to infrastructure. Now it is two-way communication. So your infrastructure can also talk to the vehicle. So sudden road blockages. Somebody is digging the road. He can put up a device that warns cars 100 meters prior that there is a roadblock. Sometimes you see those hoardings kept 10 meters away from the pothole. So these informations can be relayed faster. So you have vehicle to infrastructure or infrastructure to vehicle communication. Then you have vehicle to pedestrian. A pedestrian wants to cross. So right now you see in some places we have the button where he presses a button, the light changes. But now you can pass that information ahead before the driver even sees the light. So jaywalking the accidents due to jaywalking start to reduce. Then you have vehicle to network. So now you can pass over-the-air updates, which is already happening. So this is not something very different. Most EVs get an update every 3 months now. Then you have vehicle to device, vehicle to cloud, and so on. So vehicle to everything basically means that your vehicle is now treated like a person on a social media website and is going to keep on updating different information it perceives from surroundings. Then we look at the overview. So when we talk about V2X, it's very hard to say that one player is going to play a game. You can't say that, okay, XYZ OEM, XYZ tier 1 supplier is building something in the V2X domain. That is because you need the entire ecosystem to work. So one is the core hardware. So that the sensors, the microcontrollers, processors, cameras, everything that are going to be fit to first perceive data from its surroundings, even wireless communication methodologies and so on. The second is connectivity. So whether it's a local, that is dedicated short-range communication, which is a subset of Wi-Fi communication, or whether you are using 5G to send data to the cloud, your communication part starts playing a key role. The third is edge processing. Now, every data that I'm going to collect need not be passed to the cloud. Some decisions need to be taken there and then. Like for example, suddenly a vehicle has moved because there is a block. You can't wait 7 seconds for the message to go to the cloud and then relay to the next car, because by that time the car has already passed the bottom. So some decisions need to be taken on the local car level. So you look at edge processing and technologies on this front. Then you have the software stack. So different AI algorithms, ML algorithms, communication methodologies. You have cyber security and protection and everything that's needed from a software perspective from the V2X part. Then the infrastructure. Now this starts moving out of the OEM's responsibility into public responsibility, be it the government, be it organizations, be it policymakers and so on. So you need to have roadside units. So traffic signals need to have modules that can communicate with cars. Ambulances need to have some hardware that could communicate with surrounding cars and so on. So you look at infrastructure. You need standards and regulations. So even for basic automotive, whether it's things like ADAS or EV, there are numerous standards and regulations that have come. The simple thing that started was when EV started getting popular, the connector was a challenge. What should we adopt as a standard connector? Just like in phones, initially every phone had its own connector and then you had to rush to somebody to ask if he had a particular charger. But now USB-C made it easy. Similarly for EVs, now you have universal charging stations. You never had this challenge with petrol or diesel cars because it didn't matter much. But now standards and regulations from V2X communication, be it on the communication layer, be it how the data is going to be collected, because OEM A needs to share its data with OEM B as well. So there should be interoperability between themselves. And finally the key players. So you have OEMs, that is the car manufacturers, the vehicle manufacturers and so on. Then you have startups, so people who will start building platforms for data exchange, may cover a specific area of vehicle to everything communication, or semiconductor manufacturers to design more efficient sensors, faster way of communication, better efficient methodologies, and city planners and government and numerous factors come into picture. That's why it's more of an ecosystem and not only a single player who can change the way automotive is going to behave in the later stages. Then we look at some basic use cases. So collision avoidance. So like I mentioned, suddenly a vehicle stops. So 10, 15, 30 meters away the message is relayed and auto braking also kicks in. You can save major collisions that happen. Then you have smart traffic signals. So currently people are looking at using Google data to change the way traffic signals behave. So they say, okay, if one route is having more traffic, the red, green signal that is going to be passed through it is going to be dynamically changed. So you can have these kind of smart traffic signals, but collecting data from vehicles just around itself. Then you have pedestrian alerts. So school, let's say a school has just left. So currently you see that on the highways or even in city roads, you just have a school holding. So even at night you will see that holding and it's there. But with smart holdings or smart pedestrian communication methodologies, and you can have this live message being broadcasted to all the vehicles traveling that particular path. Then you have the hazard warning. So, like I mentioned, a truck has broken down on the cart section. You cannot see it. It happens so many times that you take a corner and suddenly the truck is ahead. And they have put those leaves and they put a small triangle and then leave a rock over there. They do some of their own tricks to tell you that the truck has broken. But with something like this, if they start transmitting that message out, then 2-3 corners prior, 100 meters prior, people will be aware that there is a breakdown. Currently, I think only Google Maps or Waze, they have this, but then you have to report it. So it still requires human perception to inform the network. Now this can be automated. Then you have platooning. So, convoys, they can be coordinated. Fleets of trucks can be coordinated. So this way you save fuel, you make logistics more efficient. And then finally, remote diagnostics and OTA updates. So remote diagnostics is already something that is being introduced in cars with level 2, level 3 ADAS systems. So if let's say the clutch plate is failing, it has the ability to inform the service station that you are going to get a car in a day or two with these parts to be changed. So with V2X, it's going to be much faster and more in real time. Okay. Now, before we look at how it can be implemented, we also see how its effects are going to be. So, in regular cars, usually there are about 80 to 120 ECUs now. In any car that costs you 20-25 lakhs onwards. And the cheaper ones have about 40-45 different types of ECUs. Now that, when they start merging with modern technologies, be it EVs or be it ADAS systems, you start getting more complex structures. So in most cars now, we have something called as zonal architectures. So left, right, center, front, forward, or maybe zone in terms of the functionality. So you have lighting ECUs, you have braking or driving powertrain ECUs, you have engine control specific ECUs, and so on. So when this starts merging with communication with different types of sensors, you can have more efficient versions of your EVs and more efficient versions of your ADAS systems. So for example, smart energy and fleet coordination. So if I know what is the charge of different fleets moving around the country, I can send information where it has to go for charging. The charging station can be ready. If let's say there are more cars to be charged in a particular station, it can decide whether it wants to stay on solar power or whether it wants to move to the grid or whether it wants to look at battery swapping as an option to reduce the load. So you have smart charging stations that can be brought because of this. Your battery range optimization, everything can come into the picture. Zonal architecture with V2X, so you have reduced wiring, your latency goes down if there is interoperability between two manufacturers. The way in which you can share data with each other starts improving. So together, it gives you more collaborative EV to EV communication approach. You may look at battery sharing tomorrow. We don't know. Already battery replacement stations are being looked at by some startups where you just reach with your vehicle and they swap the battery for you. So tomorrow they may look at sharing of private charging stations. They may look at sharing of battery from one car to another and so on. Then you have ADAS plus V2X, that is more of a situational intelligence. So one is already your ADAS systems on a local level is collecting a lot of data. You know what car is ahead of you, you know how far it is, you know what is the speed of the car, you know whether it is turning left, right, what line of the road it is holding on to, or whether it has suddenly stopped, accelerating. You get this information and you are retaining it to yourself. So the car currently only behaves based upon what it perceives, and whatever knowledge it has gained from that data, it keeps it to itself. So with communication based, now you can pass that knowledge ahead. So I learn something from the car in front, I start passing it behind. The car passes, let's say a broken down truck. It informs the prior cars. So within seconds, maybe 200-300 meters prior, the message is reached. So unlike Google Maps, which relies on somebody reporting that accident, or software-based algorithms to detect that traffic is slowing at a particular point, and then it generates the triangle symbol on the mobile application. Now you can have it in much real time. So whatever is perceived by your ADAS system, you can start passing it to the next car. So that's more of a situational intelligence that we talk about when you look at vehicle to everything communication. short-range communication channels, collecting the information from the car has to be an important role where startups and OEMs have to work together, where OEMs allow other companies to collect that data. So one is sensing and data collection. So you have numerous sensors on a car. So right from parking sensors, your tire pressure sensor. So even a tire blast can be passed on to the cars behind and the cars ahead and so on. So you have different sensors that gather various vehicle information. Then you have edge processing. So this decides what information to retain, what to share to the cloud, what to share to another vehicle, and what to just ignore. So you need to have some smartness on the vehicle, on the ECU level. Then you have wireless communication. Of course, to pass message from one vehicle to another, from vehicle to the infrastructure. Then you have this decision making on the infrastructure side. So let's say some car is telling me that there is a roadblock. What is the decision I take? Okay, I see what is the speed of the vehicle. If it is 120 kmph, I tell the driver to reduce, or I engage the brakes to slowly start the deceleration. So knowing what decision to take once you receive the data from either the sensor or another vehicle is also important. And finally, a collaborative response. So not only vehicle to vehicle, but if it is being passed to an infrastructure, what to do with it, if it is being passed to a pedestrian, if it is being passed to an ambulance, a fire brigade, a fire station, a service station. So you need to have this entire infrastructure, working hand in glove. Okay, then we look at the building blocks. So one is the hardware components. So again, the different sensors, microcontrollers, your wiring harnesses, and processor, the code you write into it, and so on. Then the communication technology. So currently in most European DSRC, which is IEEE 802.11p, it is basically called as dedicated short-range communication channel. So this is right now being standardized in some European regions and would soon come into India as well, because if you look at from an R&D perspective, there are a lot more companies who have started to give you chipsets for DSRC and cellular V2X communication. So these communication technologies are specific to your vehicle-to-vehicle communication, or next version of ADAS. Then you have cellular-based high-range 5G, which is already there in many cars now, and antenna placement, how you are going to communicate, and communication methodologies, and so on. And finally is the software and security layer. This becomes very critical for such technologies, because if somebody is able to penetrate into your car's intelligence and it starts giving false information, then you are basically a drunk driver on the road. You don't know what the car is going to do. The car is a drunk car on the road now. The driver may be sober. But then your security layers have to be extremely robust in this case to ensure that whatever data you are receiving, whatever data you are passing out is extremely secure. Yeah. Okay, then deployment challenges. Now what happens is you look at how to build it, but then deploying it is going to make you interact with OEMs as a startup. Let's say I look at it from my perspective. I'll have to talk to OEMs first to install my whatever prototype into their car. Two, I have to talk to government bodies, local municipalities. Maybe if you're trying it out in a university compound, you need authority permission to go and tell them, okay, need to add additional infrastructure. The cars that are going to run for the next 15 days are going to be at a risk, because this is something we are working on, and so on. So you need to handle these globally as well as at the Indian level. So there are two sets of challenges. One is when you look at deployment challenges globally, the spectrum and the regulatory conflicts. Now even in cellular, there were so many challenges where the US region followed something different, the Europeans followed something different, US, Asia, Japan, they followed something completely different. So standardization in this communication aspect, in the way V2X is going to work, needs to be standardized. Because today in India, we not only buy cars from Indian manufacturers, but we have Germans, you have Japanese, you have American companies also selling their cars. They have made certain changes for the Indian conditions, but then this adds more of a software-based challenge. Then the infrastructure gaps. So every city may not have infrastructure that is compliant, and we cannot say your vehicle shouldn't leave the city. So standardization of infrastructure across the globe, or even across a state, is essential something like this to work, then your ecosystem fragmentation. So conflicts happen when standardization has to be done. One car company has already started research into something. So when alternative fuel was being discussed, so petrols and alternative to diesel, some have a school of thought that EV is the future. There is some companies whose school of thought is hybrid is the next thing. They don't want to get into EVs. So there is this fragmentation in which automotive companies, governments are still working. So this fragmentation has become a challenge. Security and privacy concerns, anything that connects to the internet, people are going to talk about this. Be it your cell phone, be it your car, be it your smart home systems, anything. And finally, business model. A car manufacturer installs it, how are they going to gain from it? If government is installing certain roadside units, what is their gain? Because everybody talks about ROI, which is your return on investment. They never look at rate of improvement. What is it going to improve by installing certain infrastructure around us? So the business model uncertainty always remains. Then we have certain India specific, because we are completely different from half of the world now. So one is mixed and unpredictable traffic patterns. I don't think people in Pune need to have more explanation on this. Moving ahead, when you have regulatory standards, regulatory and standard vacuum, so there is lack of policies. So not only V2X, even in automotive still, when you look at EVs and ADAS, still some policies need to be implemented, and year on year, the government is hello. So year on year, new technologies are being mandatory in automotive. So like 10 years back, the 2 airbag system was what was being provided, but now people are looking at 4, 6 airbags in certain vehicles. So certain policies are being implemented. Then you have regulatory standards vacuum, you have infrastructure limitations. So even on main roads, lane marking is not consistent. So basic infrastructure itself is still not 100% there. So that becomes a major challenge. Connectivity and power challenges. A person has told me he was traveling from Bangalore down to Kolhapur, and he decided to take his EV just because he said that it's better, and there were charging stations shown on the application. When he reached the charging station, he realized that there is a power outage. So in tier 2, tier 3 cities, still there are a lot of power outages happening. So though there is a charging station there, power outages started creating a problem for him. So you have connectivity and power challenges. So again, even in the city, there are many dead zones where your cell phones may not even get 2G connection. And even in heart of the city, for example, in my office, a particular service provider has zero connectivity, and my office is in heart of the city. So connectivity and power challenges are always there, and cost sensitive. So the automotive industry looks at saving every rupee that it can. So in a market like India, having V2X in cars that cost, let's say, 8 to 10 lakh, which the first car buyer usually would buy it under 15 lakhs or so, they are going to have a lot of limitations, or they would have hesitation in upgrading to the model that has V2X. So even today when people buy cars, they will say, okay, 2 lakh bacha do, lekin ADAS nahi chahiye mujhe. It's there. That's why cars still have a non-ADAS or something with lesser complexity in there. So cost sensitivity and scale becomes a challenge. So if you are targeting a cost sensitive market, you need to win over by number of cars that you sell. Then we talk about problems, I think, but there are opportunities as well. So when you look at opportunities, it's not only for OEMs, it's not only for the manufacturers, but it's even for startups in the software domain, startups in hardware domain, startups in the AI ML region. So smart cities as an innovation. So already a lot of smart city planning is being done by the government. So you have 100 plus smart cities already declared on paper. So if traffic management or V2X starts being a part of the smart city, we already have infrastructures which has just started. So whenever things are being planned, it is easy to incorporate newer technologies into it. Then logistics and commercial fleets. We have huge commercial fleets moving around the country. So that's an advantage where V2X implementation and results can be immediately seen. Two-wheeler safety use cases. So the number of two-wheelers in the country is the largest globally. So if experiments can be done on two-wheelers, so basic V2X communication is implemented, it has a large opportunity. Make in India electronics push, which is already going. So in the last few years, a number of companies who have started to design in India, started to manufacture in India, and it has started being consumed in India as well. So this kind of a push is an opportunity for V2X oriented companies to come. And finally, academia startup policy. So if academia can put an effort into working on the research aspect of it, and then startups or OEMs can pick up that research and convert it to a product, that is something that can really work out. And that is how most countries have got the most top technologies out in the market. And finally, let's say somebody amongst us decides to start working on something like this, then you have to look at some basic design considerations. So one is the environmental toughness. So if like EVs had a problem in the initial days, where if they gave you a range of 250 kilometers or 300 kilometers, in Rajasthan or in extreme high altitude regions, cold regions, the battery life used to drop. So even today, forget automotive, your phone battery discharges quickly if you're somewhere in, let's say, Leh Ladakh, above 15,000 feet and so on. So we have extreme environmental regions. So Rajasthan will have 50 plus degrees summers. So your devices need to sustain that. So you have to look at environmental toughness. Then urban and rural deployment. So you can't say this car is going to be only, the ADAS will only work, or your V2X is only going to work in Pune, Hyderabad, Delhi or whatever. It has to be globally deployed. So you have to look at this consideration of how is it going to function, then other parameters are not with it. Then cost efficiency for mass market. So again, the biggest problem that we face. Power and connectivity. So ensuring that your infrastructure that is deployed by government is also powered up. Your car may run on its battery and whatever may happen, but if the infrastructure to which it has to talk is not having sufficient power, then there is a challenge again. And finally, localized security and data models. So, having distributed data systems, one, and having everything in India, because that's the newer concern of most of the government policies, that whatever you want to deploy on the cloud, the data center has to be in India, most of it, the knowledge has to stay within the country, and so on. And then we look at a peek into the future. So V2X is something that may possibly start being there in another 3 to 5 years. So there are few startups who are working on the hardware, some on the AI part of it. And already a lot of data is being collected by automotive companies. So V2X plus AI for predictive mobility. So like I mentioned, you can inform about the movement of traffic and so on. Integration with digital twins. So your car now has a digital persona online, and automotive companies can see when spare parts have to be shipped to you, or when insurance companies are aware of your driving habits and so on. Then you have global standards, local innovation. So you have different kind of frameworks to bring innovation into the country. Full automotive mobility ecosystems. So already few companies are looking at fully autonomous cars. So it's one step closer to the goal. And finally, with satellite and 5G, so as more and more data can be sent across, so if even cars can start sending video in real time, you can have more data being processed, you can have more knowledge being gained. So you look at this from a future perspective. And what startups can do. So the last part is now many people would be thinking of venturing into something like this. So build modular or scalable hardware. You already have a car. You try to build something that doesn't interfere with the car's operation, but something that can simply collect basic information from probably the CAN code and look at relaying it. Innovate for the global south. So you look at frugal innovation. So already this is something that is there in our blood. How to make something cheap. Look at jugaad options. So that's how development happens. Then you look at collaborate across ecosystems. So colleges, universities can tie up with OEMs, startups can tie up with academics, and so on. So you can build this kind of an ecosystem within the city as well. Develop edge and intelligence layer. So companies who do not have a hardware, so let's say they are not into the segment of automotive electronics. Still, if I'm able to get data of a car, and being a software company, I can process and I can generate an information. So you don't need to engineering skills, but if you're there on the software side, today software-defined vehicles is what people are talking about. So you can still play a good role over there. And prototype locally relevant use cases. So you look at two-wheelers, three-wheelers is a mass market for us because more than standardization, there is lack of variety. So in cars, in high-end cars, you have variety of cars, variety of players. But in three-wheelers, it's a very small market, almost standardized, and there is very little variety in it. So you can look at how you can prototype locally, try out relevant use cases within the campus, within a certain area, and so on. So that comes to the end of the session. So I'm open to questions. Should we have the Q&A later? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So we'll have a Q&A session in the end of the session. So I would like to invite Mr. Satish from Molex to talk about innovation in automotive electronics.
It's still good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Myself, Satish. I'm the regional manager for sales and marketing from Molex. I'm with Molex for the last 17 plus years. And very nice to see you all again in Pune. Thank you very much for joining us today. Hope everybody is okay. I'm not hearing any noise from the back of the room. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much. Right. So I'm going to talk about the transportation innovative solutions today. What we can offer. Mr. Kamath was talking about the V2X product. We have a V2X antenna which is fully certified and readily available and deployable, already deployed in the market. So anybody is interested in the antennas, V2X antennas, please reach out to us. We have a product readily available, certified and deployed in the market. The trends. What are the biggest trends that is going in the automotive market today? Zonal architecture and the SDVs, the software defined. What do you call the companies like us in product that is coming up later, and also put us in a difficult situation where we have to deliver the power to the product from the mid to high voltage, because all these days it's a low power, anything less than 14 volt is okay. But now products that are required up to 60 volt, 72 volt architectures are coming up for which you need to have a product ready. And next thing is the modularization. Then you have products that requires an in-vehicle experience. That means you have to have a quieter product and should deliver high speed without any interference. So we have products that can offer in this way. Then miniaturization. A lot of products are becoming miniaturized. because you have lesser amount of space for you to play in terms of hardware. Software, of course, you can do it over the air, but hardware, it is increasingly complex. Then it should be rugged and reliable over a period of time. And next thing is electrification. Of course, electrification is gaining momentum across the world. We already crossed 1 million vehicles in India in terms of manufacturing. So that's gaining momentum across the world. Then ADAS is another topic which is very vast, but we have products to support the ADAS systems starting from level 2 all the way to level 5. And the connectivity solutions, of course, in terms of low power, mid power, high power, signals, RF, everything, including the Ethernet solutions. So the trends that we see is the electrification, which is basically the connectivity opportunities for electrified systems. Then you have the ADAS to autonomous, basically your level 2 to level 5. Then you have the software-defined and zonal architecture vehicles. It is basically physically combining the ECUs and from the different part of the vehicle. You have the centralized ECUs and then it is distributed systems. So something like that. Then you have the connectivity solutions that requires the wireless as well as the wired solutions, including your high-speed Ethernet connectivity solutions inside the vehicle. Then your miniaturization, that plays a major role again, where your consolidations are happening. The number of pins, it used to be what, 80 pins or 96 pins. Today we are talking about 198 pins, 220 pins and stuff like that, where you cannot solve it because the number of pins are increasing, then you have a solid bridging issue in terms of production. People who are part of the production of those ECUs are aware that you have a problem with respect to your solid bridging when you have the pitches coming down, the size of the pins comes down, and the number of pins goes up. That's where you get into this, and that's where Molex plays a major role in terms of innovation and giving the products which you do not have to solder, you just have to press it so that you make the connectivity, and it is highly reliable. Then you also have the vehicle experience, the customers are the king, of course, and when they go inside the vehicle, they should feel like a king. Of course, it feels like a cockpit for most of the vehicles, which are probably 10 lakhs and above, where you have the larger screens, you have the connectivity solutions, including your CarPlay, Android, and the data speed at which it transfers the data from your mobile to the screens are much, much faster. We're talking about 20G and 40G data speed. So that are being supported by Molex. So these are the solutions. What goes outside the box in terms of connectivity, what goes as a high-speed product, what goes inside the box, the wired and wireless connectivity solutions, and the power. It includes your high power and mid voltage solutions. So this is a complete range of product that is available with Molex today. We can talk about each product probably a little later. What I wanted to show you is for each of the product or vehicle applications, what products can be used. So that's what I'm going to talk about here. For example, in terms of electrification, you have products which are like your motor controls, then the traction inverters, your 48 volt system or 72 volt system architecture. People are moving towards 48 and 72 currently. And I have seen one particular vehicle in Chennai which has got a 72 volt architecture. It's a two-wheeler, right? There is a 12 volt system that goes inside. Basically, you have a battery management system. You have onboard chargers. These are the different components of the vehicle where Molex plays a major role in terms of our product offerings that can help you design the product. So, if you go to the inside the box, you have the board-to-board, wire-to-board, as well as the low and mid-power products that goes inside the box. Then outside the box, we have the high-speed connectivity solutions, as well as the recognized wire-to-board connectivities, and as well as inline. Inline means basically your wire-to-wire or cable-to-cable solutions available. The zonal architecture, which has been most talked about in the market today. You go to any manufacturers, the OEMs, they talk about these zonal architectures or the software-defined vehicles. Basically, for every function of the car or every function of the vehicle, you have different ECUs. For engine control, you have an engine control ECU. For BMS, you have a BMS ECU. For a motor, you have a motor ECU. For a lighting, you have an ECU. For a door, you have an ECU. But what happens is, today, that is one of the drawback of the EV vehicle, because your IC engines that might be what, 1.3 tons, and you go for a electric vehicle, it should be anywhere between 1.8 to 2 tons. So your wear and tear of the tires or the wheels is going down. So you have to change once in every 20 to 30%. So that's something is not talked about in the market today, but that's gaining momentum in the market again. So we have a lot of these products. What happens is in the zonal architecture, you have the centralized ECU where you have the centralized function which controls, including your supports the OTA systems. On that, you have 4 different zonals. The car is divided into 5 different zones. 5 different zones. Basically, your centralized or a distributed zonal architecture sits here. Then the car is divided into 4 different parts. Front, basically the front left and front right, and rear left and rear right. So it has got 4 different ECUs on 4 different sides, which controls almost every function of the car. That is controlled by your centralized system here. So which means you need to have a signal, you need to have power, and you need to have high-speed data that transfers between these ECUs, as well as if you have a OTA, then it has to support that as well. So that's how this complete architecture is being built, and that's gaining momentum. And it's already being deployed in markets like China and US, and it's gaining momentum in India as well. Coming to ADAS and autonomous, like I said, we have an antenna that's fully developed, certified by CCOM. You see, they are basically the certifying body for the use case applications available with us. It's already deployed in Google, Waymos, and those kind of cars. We also have the solution that goes into almost everything that's been listed over here. If some of them are missed, probably I can add it later. Then the body and convenience, we have the different applications again, and what goes inside the box and outside the box solutions from Molex. Probably the products may be the same, but what happens is we have a variety of products that goes into these different applications, depending on the use case, depending on the number of circuits, and depending on your voltage and current ratings. We have the products to offer in that range. Then chassis and safety. Again, your safety restraint systems like airbags, then electronic power steerings, suspensions, stability control, all these things requires the sensors, sensor products, and different connectivity solutions. We support all those connectivity solutions for these different applications again. Powertrain, again, very similar approach. Lot of sensors that we support for these powertrain applications, including the ECU connectors and the connectivity solutions. In vehicle experience, this is something we have a lot of products to offer, especially in the high speed. We have that goes inside the box. There are products you can see start from here all the way here. We have the C as well as unseen, starting from 5G all the way up to 40G. Today, we are also deploying the HSA Type-C, which is gaining more momentum in the market, especially on the automotive industry. On the telematics and networking, again, very similar products, but the applications are completely different. When you innovate something, please reach out to us. We can give you the products that are already innovated and developed and readily available to be deployed in the market. So, very less amount of products I'm going to talk about today. There are a few unsealed connectors for the automotive applications. Sealed connectors developed for, again, automotive. Then in-vehicle network connections. Then FFC and FPC connectors that is used for the board-to-board or wire-to-board applications. Then the unsealed connectors used for purely the automotive. This is one of the product. It's basically a wire-to-board single row available in 0.5 mm pitch. This is tested according to LV214 and Volkswagen specifications. It is used in also with US car, but used for different headlamps, backlights, any automotive black box applications. This particular product, it's very prominently used across the automotive industry. It is available from 2 to 15 circuits. Mini 50, we have the sealed as well as unsealed. Sealed will come later. I'll talk about sealed connectors. have 1, 2, and 0, and it is equivalent pitch, 0.5 on terminal. It can be used with 0.35 square on kit. And it is available in tin as well as with gold kit. This is tested according to your US card, GMW specifications as well as LV214. This is stack 50 head and see 4 or 5 row wire to board hybrid, which means it's a combination of 0.5 on terminal all the way to 6.3 on terminal, which means you can start from probably 3 amperes, 4 amperes all the way up to 30, 35 amperes in one single product. You can see the blades over there. These are all 6.3 blades connectors. Stack 64. This is most prominently used connection system for your BMS, HVAC and power steering applications. Tested according to US card 2. It is available in both signal as well as hybrid. This is 2.54 mm pitch connectivity and C. Contact 50. It is again 1 and 2 row wire to board system. It is basically according to AK standard. AK is basically your automotive airbag standards. It can be used as a secondary connecting mechanism for your airbag applications. So it comes with 0.5 as well as 1.8 mm pitch. We have both single and dual row available in SMT, both right angle as well as straight versions. Then comes the seal connector. This is most prominently used by the two-wheeler industry in India. Very surprising because it starts from 22 circuit all the way up to 80 circuit. And more importantly, what happens is this is available in vertical, not in the right angle. Many of the automotive applications where you have a high number of pin counts, this is a right angle connector, but we have the vertical connector here. This is tested according to GMW as well as US Star. It is available only in silver and gold plating, nothing in tin because of the reliability concerns. So this is the most prominently used across the automotive industry, across the globe as well as in India. And the product, you can see the wiring harness side connectors are manufactured in India. That's an advantage. And few of the headers are also manufactured in India now because of the localization requirements as well as your PLI requirements. We have both tin and gold and a few customized silver plating is available. These are the standard products that you see, CMC, basically on the wiring harness side 22 all the way to 53 and CMX from 27 all the way to 120. If you go for the header side, we can start with 22 all the way up to 156 on the CMC. On the CMX up to 120, we can customize and today we are customizing a lot of these products to our customers, especially the module makers or the ECU makers up to 220 and 240 circuits. And these are not salted, just pressed in. It has got 15 years lifetime in the vehicle, subject to vibration conditions. This is another great product from our C, again manufactured in India, few of them. This is 1.5 mm pitch as well as 3.5. We have 1.5 terminal, 2.8 terminal, 6.3 terminal, but pitch size is 3.5. We have a single row as well as dual row up to 20 circuit, starting from 2 circuit. This is tested according to your score and LV214. Directly deployed in as well as a 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler as well as in the 4-wheeler market today in India also. This is panel mount. Very specific application for your body electronics, powertrain, or for your lighting applications. This is C connectors. We have starting from 1/2 all the way to 2/8 and 1/10. We also are in the process of developing this particular product with 33 circuit, 3 row, both vertical as well as right angle for our customers across. Because currently the terminal system that are predominantly used in the automotive industry is 0.64 and 1.5. So this particular product uses 0.5 mm terminal and 1.2 mm terminal. That really reduces the space in the PCB as well as the size of the connector. MX64, this is basically a wire-to device, meaning we will give only the female side. There is no connector available on the header side, which means it gets integrated into your sensors. This is MXP 120. It is used predominantly in the safety restraint systems for your airbag application. That's why the color is yellow here. And on the in-vehicle network connections, we have HS Autolink 1 and 2. The 1 is unsealed, the 2 is sealed. We have 6 circuits all the way up to 12 circuits. And we also have a 14 circuit unsealed that is deployed with one of the premium customer in India in the four-wheeler market. They use it for their silver box applications. This is high-speed Focra Mini. We have a dual sourcing agreement between Molex and Rosenberger. If you are using one side Molex, other side Rosenberger, it's completely fine because what Molex produces is what Rosenberger produces it. So we have the complete connectivity solution starting from vertical, right angle, the cable connectors, the cable assemblies, we support everything for your high-speed connection. And coming to FFC and FPC, we have a product called as EC on series. This is 1719. We have this particular product starting from 0.5 all the way to 1 mm pitch, starting from 4 pin to 80 pins, used for different applications for the secure connectivity. Meaning, you have the locking mechanism over here, you put the cable inside and lock it, it gets locked. It can withstand the 3G vibration requirements. Slim Stack is a board-to-board connector. It is available from 0.4 mm pitch all the way to 1.5 mm pitch and 2 mm pitch. So for the different automotive applications. This is the product which I talked about earlier. This gives you a little bit idea of what is the current rating, what is operating temperature, what is the circuit sizes available. This is another product called FSP 5 series. This is a floating range, meaning you have 0.5 mm, 0.5 mm, and 0.5 mm X, Y, and Z axis. That means even if you have a misalignment, it gets aligned properly on its own. This is rigid, which means does not have any floating option. This again floating, available in this. This are some of the products that are legacy products that is being used in the automotive industry. The microfit, it's a 3 mm pitch, very widely used. Probably our first automotive win 20 years before is with this product. And thanks to one of the local two-wheeler manufacturers. This is available in a single row from 2 to 12 and dual row to 24. It has different combinations, variations available. We have tin gold plating up to 125 degrees. Inside the box, any automotive black box applications, you can go ahead with this particular connector. This is click-mate. Again, we have 1.25, 1.5 and 2 mm pitch connectors, both vertical and right angle, available only in SFP with a mechanical stability options available on the side. You can see this particular post. You can directly solder it so that it gives you the mechanical stability with respect to your vibration. So this particular product is greatly used for your internal box applications again. Microlock Plus is another great product where we have different pitches, 1.25, 1.5 available. We have single as well as dual row, all the way up to 42 pole. And as again, it's available in SMP, and we have both right angle and straight versions. It can be used for your headlamps, interiors, mirror applications, and many automotive other black box applications. That's it from my side. Thank you. I will take any questions probably later.
Good. Thank you, Satish. So we'll have a quick break now. So it's a 15-20 minutes break. We have arranged snacks and tea outside. Please help yourself.
650,000 customers have made a habit. Because at Mouser, we leave nothing to chance.
We are connected by more than commerce. From engineering, your passion to create is helping drive our growth. And the technological advancements you've either designed or inspired are fast becoming integral components in the automation of Mouser's logistical operations. Sensing, motor control, mobile scanning, IoT, machine learning, robotics, all technologies you, the engineer, have designed, we use in our global distribution center to stock more products, consolidate more orders more accurately, and ship faster than ever. So thank you for all that you do and for developing all the innovations that allow us to continue to better serve your needs.
There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Seed will remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Seed could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. No matter where you roam, you'll encounter places you can't access. Brave Norway's Arctic temperatures to venture inside the global sea vault, and you'll instantly be turned away. There's also no chance of getting past the guards at Buckingham Palace to dine with the king. While your thirst may be quenched, the Coca-Cola formula will remain a closely guarded secret. Hidden for more than 500 years now, Montezuma's treasure, in truth, may never be seen. And unless you're Japanese royalty, you'll never set eyes on what's inside the Ise Grand Shrine. But when it's time to obtain the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components for design, Mouser always gives you full, unrestricted access. Let us be your guide in exploring a world full of technology and innovation.
When you want to do something big, you dream, you plan, you take measure of yourself and the challenge in front of you. You put in the work, and you put on your game face. That's the road to success. Leave nothing to chance. At Mouser, we know a thing or two about going big. Partnering with over
more than commerce. For ingenuity, your passion to create is helping drive our growth, and the technological advancements you've either designed or inspired are fast becoming integral components in the automation of Mouser's logistical operations, sensing, motor control, mobile scanning, IoT, machine learning, robotics. All technologies you, the engineer, have designed, we use in our global distribution center to stock more products, consolidate more orders more accurately, and ship faster than ever. So thank you for all that you do and for developing all the innovations that allow us to continue to better serve your needs.
There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Z could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Z could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. No matter where you roam, you'll encounter places you can't access. Brave Norway's Arctic temperatures to venture inside the global sea vault, and you'll instantly turn away. There's also no chance of getting past the guards at Buckingham Palace to dine with the king. While your thirst may be quenched, the Coca-Cola formula will remain a closely guarded secret. Hidden for more than 500 years now, Montezuma's treasure, in truth, may never be seen. And unless you're Japanese royalty, you'll never set eyes on what's inside the Eastern Grand Shrine. But when it's time to obtain the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components for design, Mouser always gives you full, unrestricted access. Let us be your guide in exploring a world full of technology and innovation.
When you want to do something big, you dream, you plan, you take measure of yourself and the challenge in front of you. You put in the work, and you put on your game face. That's the road to success. Leave nothing to chance. At Mouser, we know a thing or two about going big. Partnering with over 1,200 leading electronic component brands and helping them expand into markets around the globe has made us the fastest growing distributor in the industry. Maintaining the world's widest selection of inventory, embracing sophisticated warehouse automation, having local customer sales representatives capable of answering your questions about a product, its availability, or the status of an order. Well, that's just what we do at Mouser. We've made a commitment to remain the leader in new product introductions and develop the productivity tools that make buying from us the thing over 650,000 customers have made a habit. Because at Mouser, we leave nothing to chance.
We are connected by more than commerce. Your ingenuity, your passion to create is helping drive our growth. And the technological advancements you've either designed or inspired are fast becoming integral components in the automation of Mouser's logistical operations, sensing, motor control, mobile scanning, IoT, machine learning, robotics. All technologies you, the engineer, have designed, we use in our global distribution center to stock more products, consolidate more orders more accurately, and ship faster than ever. So thank you for all that you do and for developing all the innovations that allow us to continue to better serve your needs.
There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Sea could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost lemon mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Sea could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. No matter where you roam, you'll encounter places you can't access. Brave Norway's Arctic temperatures to venture inside the global sea belt, and you'll instantly be turned away. There's also no chance of getting past the guards at Buckingham Palace to dine with the king. While your thirst may be quenched, the Coca-Cola formula will remain a closely guarded secret. Hidden for more than 500 years now, Montezuma's treasure, in truth, may never be seen. And unless you're a Japanese royalty, you'll never set eyes on what's inside the Eastern Grand Shrine. But when it's time to obtain the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components for design, Mouser always gives you full, unrestricted access. Let us be your guide in exploring a world full of technology and innovation.
When you want to do something big, you dream, you plan, you take measure of yourself and the challenge in front of you. You put in the work, and you put on your game face. That's the road to success. Leave nothing to chance. At Mouser, we know the thing to do.
ingenuity. Your passion to create is helping drive our growth, and the technological advancements you've either designed or inspired are fast becoming integral components in the automation of Mouser's logistical operations, sensing, motor control, mobile scanning, IoT, machine learning, robotics. All technologies you, the engineer, have designed, we use in our global distribution center to stock more products, consolidate more orders more accurately, and ship faster than ever. So thank you for all that you do and for developing all the innovations that allow us to continue to better serve your needs.
There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost linen mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican secret archives. And the lost city of sea could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost linen mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican secret archives. And the lost city of sea could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. No matter where you roam, you'll encounter places you can't access. Brave Norway's Arctic temperatures to venture inside the global sea vent, and you'll instantly be turned away. There's also no chance of getting past the guards at Buckingham Palace to dine with the king. While your thirst may be quenched, the Coca-Cola formula will remain a closely guarded secret. Hidden for more than 500 years now, Montezuma's treasure, in truth, may never be seen. And unless you're Japanese royalty, you'll never set eyes on what's inside the Isla Grand Shrine. But when it's time to obtain the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components for design, Mouser always gives you full, unrestricted access. Let us be your guide in exploring a world full of technology and innovation.
When you want to do something new, you dream, you plan, you take measure of yourself and the challenge in front of you. You put in the work, and you put on your game face. That's the road to success. Leave nothing to chance. At Mouser, we know a thing or two about going big. Partnering with a
We are connected by more than commerce. Your ingenuity, your passion to create is helping drive our growth. And the technological advancements you've either designed or inspired are fast becoming integral components in the automation of Mouser's logistical operations, sensing, motor control, mobile scanning, IoT, machine learning, robotics. All technologies you, the engineer, have designed, we use in our global distribution center to stock more products, consolidate more orders more accurately, and ship faster than ever. So thank you for all that you do and for developing all the innovations that allow us to continue to better serve your needs.
There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost linen mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Seed could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost linen mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And the lost city of Seed could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. No matter where you roam, you'll encounter places you can't access. Brave Norway's Arctic temperatures to venture inside the global sea vault, and you'll instantly be turned away. There's also no chance of getting past the guards at Buckingham Palace to dine with the king. While your thirst may be quenched, the Coca-Cola formula will remain a closely guarded secret. Hidden for more than 500 years now, Montezuma's treasure, in truth, may never be seen. And unless you're Japanese royalty, you'll never set eyes on what's inside the Eastern Grand Shrine. But when it's time to obtain the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components for design, Mouser always gives you full, unrestricted access. Let us be your guide in exploring a world full of technology and innovation.
When you want to do something big, you dream, you plan, you take measure of yourself and the challenge in front of you. You put in the work, and you put on your game face. That's the road to success. Leave nothing to chance. At Mouser, we know a thing or two about going big. Partnering with over 1,200 leading electronic component brands and helping them expand into markets around the globe has made us the fastest growing distributor in the industry. Maintaining the world's widest selection of inventory, embracing sophisticated warehouse automation, having local customer sales representatives capable of answering your questions about a
more than commerce. Your ingenuity, your passion to create is helping drive our growth, and the technological advancements you've either designed or inspired are fast becoming integral components in the automation of Mouser's logistical operations. Sensing, motor control, mobile scanning, IoT, machine learning, robotics. All technologies you, the engineer, have designed, we use in our global distribution center to stock more products, consolidate more orders more accurately, and ship faster than ever. So thank you for all that you do and for developing all the innovations that allow us to continue to better serve your needs.
There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's lost linen mine. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And a lost city of Spain could remain lost forever. But at Mouser, we give you unlimited access to the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components from well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. There are many places in the world where your access is limited. You can't enter the vaults of Fort Knox. You probably won't find Canada's law. You may never lay eyes on the Vatican's secret archives. And a lost city of Spain could remain lost forever.
Hi everyone. We are about to start the event. People outside are requested to come in. We'll start in a couple of minutes.
From well over 1,000 leading brands engineers know and trust. On your quest for technology and innovation, let Mouser be your guide. No matter where you roam, you'll encounter places you can't access. Brave Norway's Arctic temperatures to venture inside the global sea vault, and you'll instantly be turned away. There's also no chance of getting past the guards at Buckingham Palace to dine with the king. While your thirst may be quenched, the Coca-Cola formula will remain a closely guarded secret. Hidden for more than 500 years now, Montezuma's treasure, in truth, may never be seen. And unless you're Japanese royalty, you'll never set eyes on what's inside the beastly grand shrine. But when it's time to obtain the widest selection of semiconductors and electronic components for design, Mouser always gives you full, unrestricted access. Let us be your guide in exploring a world full of technology and innovation.
When you want to do something big, you dream. You plan. You take measure of yourself and the challenge in front of you. You put in the work, and you put on the game face. That's the road to success. And you learn to chance. At Mouser, we know things about going big. Partnering with over 1,200 leading electronic component brands and helping them expand into markets around the globe has made us the fastest growing distributor in the industry. Maintaining the world's widest selection of
All right, thank you everyone. Hope you like the snacks. It's time to continue. So I would like to invite Mr. K from Taiyo in Japan to come on stage and continue the presentation.
Hello everyone. Namaste. My name is Akinobu Katsura from Taiyo India. We are very happy to be here, and yes, this seminar we would like to introduce our component for automotive. So I hope this seminar will be useful for you. Thank you. Yes, this is today's agenda of Taiyo Yuden. Taiyo Yuden introduction. Taiyo Yuden introduction and market overview and component introduction. And we have three introduction in components. One is inductor, metal inductor, ferrite and metal inductor. And another one is MLCC here. And final one is a hybrid electrode capacitor. This is a Taiyo Yuden corporate overview. Taiyo Yuden is a Japanese company. The head office is in the Tokyo city in Japan. And, we established our company in 1950. So we have 75 years history. And yes, this is a net sales for last financial year. Roughly 2.24 billion US dollar is our sales of last year. And then we have 20,000 friends in our company. And yes, we have a main business is a passive component, like the MLCC, inductor, and so on. Okay, this is our organization chart of Taiyo Yuden. We have 4 headquarters. One is account. Another one is sales. And we have 2 business headquarters in it. The right side, today's attendee of Taiyo Yuden, and me, Akinobu Katsura, is in the sales headquarters. And I'm sitting in the bungalow. Another one is Chiran. Chiran is he's a key person of India sales, supporting you. The final one, Mr. Katsuyuki Kayahara, he's a business planning depth of inductor, magnetic product. So he's a professional for inductor. So many questions, give to. Hi, this is a product lineup of Taiyo Yuden. One is an MLCC, and the inductor, and the aluminum cap. And we also have RF products, like a salt filter and the duplexer. And yeah, all components are needed in the automotive. So if you have an inquiry, please contact us. So the key message is Taiyo Yuden is a lead company of the passive component. So please remember. Okay, this is our sales at the glance. And yeah, most of all, the sales amount of 70% ceramic capacitor, but we also have an inductor. This is a very nice position in the high reliability and high performance market. Yes. And this is a sales by market. We have a 30% automotive and 20% infrastructure. And we are focusing on to expand our sales to automotive and infrastructure. It's a high reliability market. Yeah, this is a net sales history. We have a CAGR 4% increasing last 10 years. And the right side is an investment ratio. Yeah, every year we invest and expand our capability. This is a global manufacturing location, factory location. The capacitor, Japan, China, Korea, Malaysia. The inductor, Japan, Philippines, China. The RF device, only Japan. The aluminum can is Japan, Thailand, Malaysia. So the 11 factories in 6 countries we have for to avoid business continuity risk. Yes. This is a sales office worldwide, and the key message is here. And we registered Taiyo Yuden India this year, and yes, we and I and Chiran can support you more closely. So please contact. This is the final slide of my speech. This 2% is a window person of sales. The above one is Chiran. He's in charge of automotive. The another one, unfortunately, he's not here, but Diviraj is in charge of non-automotive customer. So yeah, please contact our sales staff. Thank you very much.
I'm Kei Kaihara. From this page, I'd like to explain more detail. I'm coming from inductor division, so I'd like to explain about the inductor. After that, briefly explain about the MLCC and aluminum electric capacitor. So this page shows the automotive markets. So last year, the EV sales is a little bit slow, but the long-term perspective, it's increasing. The CAGR is 3 points. And especially for India, more than that. So CAGR is 4.4%, and it will reach 5.9 billion in 2028. And this graph shows the automotive electronics growth in sales. So the electronic device installed in automotive is larger than growth of vehicle. because many semiconductor or passive components are installed, especially in the ADAS or infotainment and cluster, to achieving a higher performance or multi-function. So the trending word of automotive is electrification, autonomous, connected, and decarbonization. So the passive component also need to meet those trends. So for electrification, example, to achieve a long driving distance, more efficient is required. For that, lower DCR or lower quarters is required for the components. And price demand is increasing for the higher performance and multi-function is required within the limited space within the automotive. So in that case, the smaller case size is required. And more component is mounted in the with the high density, EMI, and the temperature will be the problem. So we need to care that. And of course, the GHG reduction also required. And same as IEC, high reliability, low price, and the PCT is required. So from next page, I'd like to explain the inductor products that match those requirements. So I'd like to give the inductor product. Next page. So these are the diode inductor products. The horizontal axis, so the inductance value from 0.1 microhenry to 1,000 microhenry, and a vertical axis shows the case size from the small 1.6 by 0.8 millimeter to 12 millimeter. And color of flame shows the temperature of product. Red color is 125 degrees C product, and the blue color is 150 degrees C product. And the color of the inside the frame shows the material, magnetic material of the inductors. So blue color is conventional ferrite inductor, and green color is metal inductor. So today we have the limited time, so I'd like to focus on this metal chip inductor. So at the beginning, I'd like to explain about the material-wise, so as a basis. So conventionally, the ferrite material is used as an inductor material because it has a higher relative permeability. So it's easier to getting a higher inductance value like 10 micro, 100 mic, or those values. But recently, higher current is required. In those cases, the metal material is interesting. But the demerit of metal inductor is the permeability is low. So it's really hard to getting a higher inductance value to achieve with the metal inductor. So need to more turn means a higher DCI. But the DC switching frequency becomes higher and higher. So the megahertz switching frequency, the required inductance value is 1 microhenry or 0.47 microhenry. Those are lower range. So in those lower inductance, metal material can achieve with better performance. So our recommendation is for higher inductance value like 10 or 100 for boost converter, we continuously recommend to ferrite material. On the other hand, for buck converter, those require 1 micro or 0.47 micro, we recommend to use metal material inductance. And we are focusing this metal material inductance, so I'd like to explain details about the product. So this diagram shows the overall sales history. of inductor. Not only automotive, but also the consumer grade. So blue bird shows ferrite materials. It's continuously used, but decreasing. On the other hand, the orange color metal inductor is increasing. The reason is right side. So those inductors are used in the mobile. Any pieces are used inside of your phone. So because those mobile phones require high current to achieve many functions. So that's why those require mobile. But I believe those trends also require in automotive because those are many functions. So we believe so those kind of technology will be used in the automotive market. So there is several metal chip inductor suppliers. So from next stage, I'd like to explain the advantage of high-yield metal chip inductor. So one is the production capacity, and second is electric performance, and third is environment, and fourth is BCP. So about the capacity, as I explained, our metal chip inductor is used in the mobile market. So those customers use billion pieces per year, so many big volume. So I believe those enough volume for automotive. And in general, using many pieces means that the price is competitive in terms of economy of scale and experience of effects. So that is important. And the next keyword for the electrical performance, I'd like to explain on the next page. So this is the relationship between the power supply and inductor. As you know, in the power supply, right load side is AC loss is dominant area, right? So in that case, the lower AC, choosing the lower AC loss inductor is good to achieve a higher efficiency in right load. On the other hand, the heavy load side is a DC, is a dominant area. In those areas, so lower DCR is key point to achieve a higher efficiency in heavy load side. And for the inductor, the AC loss is coming from the core materials loss, like hysteresis loss, eddy current loss, and other losses. On the other hand, the DC loss is coming from copper loss of the conductor. So, and it's really difficult to achieving low loss in AC and both DC. But retail unit has the well knowledge about the material. So we can have own recipe and find the raw material and mix by ourselves. So, and we achieving the higher performance with both AC and DC. I will explain detail on the next page. So about the DC, DCR is listed in the data sheet of each supplier. I repeat that main metal chip inductor, same 20K side, the 0.47, 1 micron, and 2.2 micron. So look at the orange color of higher the metal chip inductor. So the DCR is the lowest number in each inductor cycle. So it means we can achieve a higher performance in the heavy load side. So you can check the data sheet for each supplier. On the other hand, AC loss is not listed in the catalog or data sheet or specification sheet because it's changes depending on the condition. So left graph shows the actual measured loss data. Horizontal axis shows the frequency, and vertical axis shows the AC loss of each ripple current condition, 200 milliamp peak to peak to 1.2 amp peak to peak condition. So, and for example, the basic buck converter condition, 5 volts in and 1.85 volt out, switching frequency 2 megahertz and inductance value 0.7, the ripple current will be 1.2 amp by the ripple current calculation. On those conditions, the high rhythm one is a lower level compared to the other supplier. And in all conditions, orange color layer one is lower level. So this means not only DC side, but also AC side also diode can achieve higher performance. So this page is the actual measurement of DC-DC converter evaluation board. We change each supplier's inductance and measure the actual measured efficiency. So as we predicted, so we have good performance and DC and low loss, so that's why we can achieve the highest performance from light load side to heavy load side. So that graph shows our performance advantage. And Taiyo is confident in its own product. And unfortunately, this kind of AC measurement method is not standardized. So we are trying to standardize the IEC, and we are the leader to standardization. And CD committee draft is already issued, and international standard will be issued soon. So that is the explanation about our performance. And this page shows about the environment. So I heard that India recorded the 50 degrees C of temperature by the summer heat wave. So GHG reduction is issue that must be addressed. And in Europe, major companies are required to submit environment report to government. So we Taiyo Yuzen continuously to review our production process and improve production efficiency and reduce energy. On the other hand, here is an example of how you, as a tier 1, tier 2, and OEM, can reduce GHG by selecting components. So in the top table shows comparison of electric performance. So top side is ferrite material inductor, and the bottom is metal material inductor. So look at the electric performance, DCR, saturation current, temperature. So those are almost same level, but his size is totally different. Because as I explained, metal chip inductor can achieve superior performance in the lower inductor side. So in this 1 microhenry example, metal inductor can achieve the same performance with smaller package. So volume is small, the GHG emission is very small, so it can reduce to the 40%. So that is another reason what we like to recommend the metal material inductor. And another reason is about the BCP. So Taiyo sales is 90% is coming from the outside Japan. So we have the production is also have the outside of Japan also. And so metal inductor is manufacturing in Japan, and the ferrite material is manufactured in the Philippines. So China's dependency is less than 1%, and especially the US company require for China exporters. So in that case, so using tire inductor will be the option for those customers. And not only manufacturing place, but also the material wise. So currently we are using China-made material, but we also use out of China material also. So if something happens, we can change those materials. So that is the another merit to choose Taiwan. And we have two different types of metal chip inductor. The left side is multi-layer structure, and the right side is a wire-wound type structure. So for small package, we use the multi-layer structure because it's easier to make in a smaller package. So multi-layer structure, LCCN series, retain the insulation and bonding between metal material particles by forming higher crystalline and thin oxide surface of the metal magnetic particle by heat treatment. On the other hand, the wire-wound type LCN series with physical bonding of metal powder and resin. We can achieve better performance by designing material and particle size and fitting ratio. It's original recipe. So again, so I like to emphasize our merit of a product. So production capacity, electrical performance, environment, and DCP. That is our strong point for choosing metal chip inductor of tire defects. And these are our lineup. So we have 1.6 by 0.8 millimeter is a minimum case size, and 25 changes 2.5 by 2.0 millimeter case size is start manufacturing. And we expand bigger case size 3.2 by 2.5 and 4.0 by 4.0 soon. And if you need the data sheet, estimators, price model, component library for simulation, so you can download from Taiwan homepage. So this is the QR code. And our inductor seen in the Mouser side also. So here is a QR code of Mouser side. So if you need some small video sample, so you can buy from Mouser side. So the next page, I'd like to explain about the capacity. So this is the Taiwan capacitor lineup. We have MLCC, red color dot, and hybrid capacitor in blue. We have many variations with case size and capacitance. And with tire is really strong point is to achieve a higher capacitance value with a smaller package size. So that requires higher technology in the electro powder technology, microstructure design, India technology, and multi-layer technology, and printing technology is required to get a higher capacitance value with a smaller package. And Taiwan strong point is that we have these in-house rather than the outsourcing them. So that is the strong point of Taiwan. The sales quantity in worldwide MLCC market are increasing. It's 20 times from 2000, so it's growing now. So to meet the demand, we are continuing to invest in increasing production. The Taiwan is ranked the third position in MLCC, and especially the higher capacitance value, more than 10 microhenry, we are the second position. So Taiwan introduced a new part number in 2021. So for those unfamiliar, here is some quick explanation. The first digit indicates the product group. So M means the multi-layer capacitor, L is inductor, and R is the electric capacitor. And second category, second digit shows the category of product. S is for the consumer grade, and A is automotive powertrain safety, and C is body and chassis for. And third digit shows the type of external electrode. The A is standard two-terminal, and J is the soft termination MLCC. I show the cross-section of that. That is good reliability for mechanical and thermal stress. And this is the MLCC product lineup. We have a higher capacitance value with the standard material capacitor. And for higher electric type, we release up to 100 micro for which can be used for higher performance processor. And the soft termination series has resistance to bending and some stress. That is the third one. And the temperature compensating MLCC C0G type capacitor lineup is up to 1 kilovolt. And for 48 volt system, the over 100 volt medium high voltage multi-layer cement capacitor is required. So which lineup up to 4.7 microhenry as the highest capacity. The last is about hybrid aluminum capacitor. The polymer hybrid capacitor, which is a superior performance compared with the existing conductive polymer capacitor and aluminum electric capacitor. The conductive polymer capacitor is lower ESR than aluminum electric capacitor due to high conductive polymer is used for electric materials. But the fact that its failure is short is not acceptable for automotive application. So that's why the aluminum electric capacitor is used in the automotive market. On the other hand, our polymer hybrid capacitor has combination is the strong point of conductive polymer, low ether characteristic, and aluminum electric capacitors oxide layer self-repair function by its electric rating, and its failure mode is open, caused by dryer. That is a good for automotive. And the strong point of thyroid and polymer hybrid capacitor is the three strong points. One is the fully lineup of case size. We have the smaller case size to bigger case size, and the 12.5 millimeter diameter case size is only one supplier in worldwide. So that is the thyroid strong point. And second is the various sales record. So we have already sales history in big European tier 1 customers. So we have that already in the market. And the last one is custom product. So we can support not only the standard catalog product, but also we can change, specify some specification depends on the volume. So if you have some specific requirement, please let us know. And this is product lineup. So we offer a wide range of production based on three requirements for automotive parts. So lifetime, temperature, and vibration resistance. So based on the standard requirement 125 degrees C, you can select the product with required lifetime or temperature and vibration resistance according to the circuit's requirements. As a reference, I show some recommendation of three for automotive application. So if you need some sample, please go to the Mouser page or contact us. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. K. Thanks to Thai Udon team for coming all the way from Japan and attending the event. Thank you so much. We'll have a Q&A session later, and we'll ask questions over that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I would like to invite Mr. Srishachalam from Wellfuse to talk about future of EVs in India. Please welcome Mr. Srishachalam on stage, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Srishachalam. I'm the country manager for Wellfuse in India. So I'm commonly known as Sesha in the electronic industry. I've been with Bell for the last 14 years. My total experience, work experience in this industry is around 41 years. So nice to have all of you here today. Today we are going to cover the future of electric vehicles in India. We will partially describe about the products and also cover the market outlook and market information. today's agenda pertains to a brief introduction to our company and product overview and key market focus. This being the electric vehicle session today, we will cover in detail power product lines and circuit protection devices for the EV vehicle. We will also illustrate the EV framework, basically of a car and a e-bus. Then we will describe about technology at the forefront of electric vehicles, mainly the battery management systems, which is very important today from the safety point of view for EVs. Then charging infrastructure and EV market scenario in India. And finally, we will cover the future of EV adoption in India. Also touch upon the success stories of our company in India. Now coming to Belfuse, ours is a US-based company established in 1949 by the Bernstein family. So they named it as Bernstein Electronics. That is why it is known as Bell. So I am mentioning this because it should not be confused with Bharat Electronics. So it was established by one Mr. Elliot Bernstein in 1949. And at that point of time, we started with manufacture of fuses for RCA brand color television. So that is how the company was incorporated as Belfuse Inc. In India also we are incorporated as Belfuse India. So we are located in New Jersey. We are a publicly listed company. So we design, manufacture and market broad array of products that power, protect and connect electronic circuits. So why I mention as power, protect and connect is we have power supplies for all many industrial segments, including railways, EV, medical, telecom, industrial, etc. Fuses are also there for similar industrial segments, and we have connectors for telecom, defense, aerospace and space sector. So we have more than 75 years of experience. We have always demonstrated our ability to successfully introduce reliable products in the market. If you take even EV product lines, we are actually keeping in pace with the emerging market trends in India. Coming to the product overview, we have power supplies, both AC-DC and DC-DC for different industry segments, power adapters, circuit protection devices, and for telecom we have magnetics, Ethernet connectors. For mill aerospace applications we have mill aerospace connectors and cable assemblies. Our key market focus is in the e-mobility sector, networking, industrial harsh environment, railways, medical and consumer electronics. Containing the same, we have strong in commercial aerospace also, defense, IoT, space and test and measurement. Since this is pertaining to EV seminar today, we will focus more on the EV product lines of Belfuse. So we have, as you can see, we have the inverter series based on the battery voltage of 350 volts DC and 700 volts DC. We have the inverter series for both the battery options. So this is a 6 kilowatt inverter series. This is used in e-bus. It is used for harsh applications. You can see constructive material, drones, etc. We also have the down converter, the 4 kilowatt down converter for accessories powering in vehicle. This again we have for the 350 volt bus, we have both 12 volt and 24 volt range. For 700 volt DC bus, we have both the 12 volt and 24 volt range. For the inverter charger combo series, we have the 12 volt DC range, and then we have the chargers, that is the PCV and the BCL series. The one we have for 12 volt and the other ones we have for both 12 volt and 24 volt. We also have a wide range of automotive high reliability fuses. So here I have listed the part numbers. These are all automotive complaints. Is there AEC Q200 complaint products? Chip fuse, brick fuse, PTC mount and PTC radial fuse also. The series is listed here. So we help customers who are started the design win activity of fuses. We will offer full technical support during the design win. There will be interactive sessions, and we'll share the data sheet first, and there will be interactive sessions. This is what we have done for our existing customers also, and we are successfully getting business, especially from the two-wheeler manufacturers. If you take the EV fuse market for high voltage fuses, which some of you must have already seen at the display, we have the 500 volt range, 800 volts, 1000 volts with different series, different ampere ratings, and the mounting options also. Some of them we have displayed in the display section, where my colleague Selva Kumar is handling, and he has explained well to all the customers who have so far inquired. Here you can see the actual series for different automotive applications. What part number can be chosen, and within the series, based on the technical specs, what the exact part number can be designed in. This is the EV framework of an electric car. You can see as per the product, what I have explained. You have the charging inlet. If you have the onboard charger, that is the BCL25 or the BCV series, you can directly charge from an AC input. And then we have the power electronics, the down converter, DC-DC converter, both 350 and 700 DLC series option. And then we also supply along with this, although it is optional at present, but we insist to the customer that they buy the high voltage cable kit from us rather than sourcing outside. We have faced problems with some of the customers who have sourced directly, because these cable assembly and connectors, this connector especially, we procure from reputed manufacturers like Molex, etc. But we are not sure how the end customer will procure locally. So they have faced issues with IP67 and I69 complaints. So now we really insist that they should procure the cable kit also from us when they procure the other power parts. This is a similar thing with the electric bus also. Only thing is here I have added the auxiliary inverter because some AC requirements will be there in the bus. But otherwise the topology is almost similar like the car. So here again, an illustrative thing of a electrical framework of a EV vehicle. Again, what all fuses are used, we have listed the series, and you can see how the circuitry is having the PDU, the electric motor, the brake pump, PTC heating, power assisted. So these are all main functions and also the accessory functions in an EV. Again, so many applications are there in the electric vehicle. So you have the driver assist radar, infotainment, program lighting, cameras. Like this, you have so much electronics today in a vehicle compared to the earlier days of an internal combustion engine. So now we are observing that from the internal combustion engine to EV, when there is a shift, there is also a shift in the quantum of technology inside and outside the vehicle. Interior and exterior vary significantly in terms of technology. We have seen a lot of addition of new technologies such as battery management system, motor controller, touch-based dashboard, battery technology, and telematics. The EV system also has seen extensive technology evaluation, that is value chain and support infrastructure such as vehicle financing, charging infrastructure, cloud computing, data analytics, leasing, online sales, etc. Now, India is rapidly emerging as a global leader in the EV industry, driven by environmental concerns, government initiatives and technological advancements. The EV sector in India holds immense potential. It is poised to revolutionize the country's transportation landscape. The components used inside the EV are going through major change with increasing use of technology and software. If you see what all changes I have witnessed in the last many years, the engine has been replaced by battery with a technology addition of battery management system. Transmission has been replaced by motor and controller. Normal analog screens have been replaced by digital touch screens. The increasing number of EUs with advanced software programming. If you compare the internal combustion engine vehicle and EV today, you see a lot of transformation is going on and more electronics is coming into the vehicle. Earlier there was only 16% electronics, now you can see almost 55% electronics. This is for a four-wheeler what we are referring to presently. So way forward due to EV transformation, now the automotive ecosystem will have a long-lasting impact because of this transformation. Large portion of this ecosystem will need to be rebuilt, reskilled and expanded to meet the future needs of EVs. EVs are shown to be not only a cleaner option compared to a fuel power vehicle, but will also significantly lower operating cost over the vehicle's life cycle. See, the initial cost may be high, naturally as of now, but as the days go by, as more components are sourced, manufactured and sourced locally, definitely the cost implication will be there, it will improve. So over the life cycle, definitely the cost will be less than what it is today for conventional vehicle. Now as EV technology evolves, you find a lot of new suppliers for crucial components coming in, batteries, software also, a lot of software. Morning also I saw some good presentation, software related to EV. So they have an opportunity to enter and challenge the established companies to diversify. So this is a very good move, and in such a scenario, the EV evaluation, the EV establishment will definitely rise in the coming years. Now coming to the battery management system, the BMS has evolved from a simple protection circuit module to a BMS. It is a very critical part of any battery system that controls and monitors state of charge, temperature, current and voltage of cells in the battery pack. It is incapable of smart energy management, is thus prone to failure under non-standard operating conditions. One of the consequences of such failures, battery fires that have been witnessed quite regularly. If you take an advanced BMS, it provides the right mix of safety, performance by balancing the energy stored in the cell, thus preventing fire accidents. Now this we are working very closely with most of the BMS manufacturers. When we do the design win of the fuses, very stringent procedure. Even if they take around 10 million fuses from us, even if there is any anomaly or fault observed in one component, we always send it to our lab in APAC or in US for testing and find out what is the reason for that. Even a very, very minor failure during testing, because this one small failure can create a big disaster on the road also. So we have already witnessed some EV fires, so we want to be very, very careful and in the long run be reliable. So this is a comparison of the PCM and the BMS. So this is a very primitive standalone protective circuit. It focuses only on protecting from overcurrent or over voltage flow. It is purely hardware based with no software integration, lack of any precision output, performs equalization using basic board, low cost to produce. It is used in small tools and low-end bikes only. If you take the BMS, it is very advanced with multiple functionality, significant focus on intelligent software, integration in addition to hardware. high level of precision and adaptability. Measures, operates, protects the battery packs using advanced algorithms. It is used across advanced products like EV, drones, etc. So you can see here how a BMS can save a vehicle from battery fires. Over discharge protection is there. It prevents the battery from being discharged below a certain safety level. And then short circuit protection. This protects the battery against short circuits between cells or between electrode and the ground. And thermal runaway. This offers protection by activating and shutting down the battery to prevent any overheating when temperature of the cell gets very high. And then cell balancing. This ensures that each cell in the battery pack is equally charged and prevents damage to the cells. And it prevents uneven charging. Current protection. This protects the battery against excessive charge and discharge currents. Also overcharge protection. This prevents the battery from overcharging. It can help minimize or prevent damage. Now current trends in BMS. Battery management systems are available in the market are completely reliant on manufacture with varying degrees of efficiency. Use the system's complexity and range of functions. There is an urgent need for standardization. Of course, a lot of standardization is required because when we go to any customers also in these projects, we see different standardization, so that has to be standardized and it should be uniform. Many OEMs must further improve the BMS design with compact batteries to maximize performance and minimize energy loss. Interoperability of batteries through swapping requires standardized BMS across vehicle segments. So this is very important because a lot of battery swapping is there. In India, if you see, it is rapidly emerging as a global leader in electric EV industry, driven by growing environmental concerns, government initiative and technological advancements. This EV sector holds a very big potential and poised to revolutionize the country's transportation landscape. So current EV landscape, if you see, this is gradually growing, driven by government incentives and increasing consumer awareness. EV landscape spans cars, two-wheelers, three-wheeler and commercial vehicles, catering to various mobility needs. Adoption is uneven across India. So we see some states like Delhi and Maharashtra leading the transition. So this has to spread to many states in India. Today we see good progress in these two states. The ecosystem development, a robust ecosystem of OEMs, charging infrastructure, providers and battery manufacturers is emerging to support the EV industry. So government and private companies are expanding the network of public charging stations across India to support the growing EV adoption. But still, this is still a very long way to go. Morning somebody mentioned that about a highway if you take also, sometimes there will be a power outage and the charging facility will not be available. So all these need to be taken care of and standardized. Subsidies and tax benefits are being offered to encourage EV owners to install private charging setups in their homes and workplaces. This will be a very good initiative from the government and people following it. Emerging technologies like wireless charging, battery swapping, fast charging are being developed to improve the charging experience for EV users. So today we have two types of typical EV charging architectures. One is the onboard charging system, the other one is the off-board AC fast charging. So here you can see you have the AC charger directly given to the onboard charger, and there you have the DC charger which is directly given to the battery. It is a high power. So if you take the classifications today, you have the AC charging, you have the residential type, commercial type. The power ratings you can see here, 120 to 230 AC, and the other one is up to 240. One is 12 to 16 ampere, other one is 15 to 80 amperes. So if you take the power and approximate charging time for 24 kWh battery, approximately it will be 17 hours in the first case and around 8 hours in the second case. So this is a long time duration. if you take the DC charging, this is the fast chargers, approximately around 120 to 240 kilowatt. In 30 minutes, the vehicle will be fully charged. So this is a very good system now. But overall, as I mentioned, we have to do a lot of standardization within India. So the future is, as we have keep mentioning several times, these are emerging as the future transportation in India. Currently, India's EV market is relatively small. It accounts for around 2.5% of all cars sold in 2024, with high prices and limited charging network deterring potential buyers. Rapid expansion driven by more affordable EVs, extensive charging infrastructure, and a shrinking price gap between traditional vehicle and EVs is being anticipated. This is a very important factor. Then only you can see a good growth of the EV market in India. The government has set up ambitious target for EVs to make 30% of total passenger vehicle sales by 2030, supported by plans for subsidies, financing, and infrastructure development. The market estimates indicate that last year EV products has increased by 22% year over year to about 1,25,500 units. So this is how it was. If you take the graph from 2019 to 24 for 5 years, you can see it has been a very rapid, very rapid growth. Although we have been talking, but this is definitely a good unprecedented growth. If the similar thing continues in the next 5 to 6 years, then definitely it is a good future for EV market in India. Now, what are the government initiatives for accelerating this EV adoption? Faster adoption and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles in India. This is the FAME 2 scheme, introduced in 2015. I mean, that's the initial FAME, and then the FAME 2 was introduced in April 2019, focused on electrifying public and shared transportation. Production-linked schemes, launched in 2021, aims to boost domestic manufacturing of advanced automotive technology products and attract investments. In March 2024, there was a reduction in EV import duties to encourage local manufacturing. The import duty was slashed for EVs priced over USD 35,000 from 100% to just 15%, so long as manufacturers commit to making substantial local investments. Now, I'd just like to mention one point here. We have a lot of manufacturing facilities in the US, Europe, China, UK. We also have 2 manufacturing setups in India, in Mumbai and in Manesar near Gurgaon. Now, there are different production products being done in Mumbai and Delhi, but in the long run, we are just planning that whichever market emergence is more, especially EV, we are definitely planning to have a lot of local manufacturing in India. And our China factory setup also, we have 2 factories. So there may be a plan to, it is already the trend today to move out of China. In fact, Chinese companies themselves move out of China today to manufacture elsewhere. In fact, India also has a bright prospect. So we are also planning in a similar way. So this is a good indication that we have 2 factory setups in India in the last 3 years. Now, to boost the domestic manufacturing of lithium-ion batteries and enhance EV technology, extension was done for basic customs duty exemption in the union budget this year to 35 additional capital goods essential for EV battery production. So we also have a lithium-ion battery production coming up. Plan is there in Bangalore also. We have to see how it progresses. So if you take automakers in India, they are gearing up to launch multitude of new EV vehicles. This year, later this year, it promises longer driving ranges and faster charging times. Many reputed brands, they already showcased some of their innovative products in the Bharat Mobility Expo, Global Expo, in response to stricter emission requirements, set to take off in the next 2 years. During the current year, production of battery-powered passenger vehicles will soar around 1% year over year to approximately 400 units. This figure will account for 6% of estimated 5.16 million passenger vehicles India expects to produce this year. Now, Now we have a lot of challenges here. In the last many years, if you see from 21 to 24, it has seen a very modest growth, approximately around 200 basis points annually. Now, if we have to really meet the 2030 target, this must really double to around 300 basis points per year. Now, several states' EV policies are nearing expiration, and the lack of any cohesive long-term strategy is a challenge for the envisaged EV revolution in India. Recent approval of two major incentive schemes marks a crucial step in promoting electric buses and trucks, but the continued exclusion of passenger vehicles from subsidy schemes. Now, this is really a challenge to increase the numbers, because passenger vehicles also should get a subsidy scheme. Then only the market will grow. Today they are concentrating only on the big vehicles and commercial vehicles. The fleet electrification segment, it constitutes 15% of the total EV portfolio. It remains essential. There should be more support for electric passenger vehicles. Again, continuing the challenges, EVs are priced typically 20 to 30% above their internal combustion engine counterparts. Now, India's reliance on imported components, batteries, is a big challenge to the growth of this EV sector, despite government efforts to promote localization through various policies. Localization rate is not increasing as expected. Willpower is attempting to further enhance the local production activities. So as I mentioned, we have two factory setups. One is making power supplies for medical, and other one is for defense aerospace power supplies. But we'll definitely be moving in even EV product lines in the near future. The lack of adequate charging infrastructure, especially in Tier 2 cities and rural areas, is a formidable challenge. Uneven growth contributes to range anxiety among potential buyers, further challenging the transition to electric mobility. This range anxiety is always there. When you charge the vehicle fully, how much kilometers guaranteed to run, how much it will actually run. It all depends on various factors, like how it is driven and what are the road conditions. The growing demand for hybrid vehicles present another challenge, as consumers often seek alternatives to fully electric vehicles. Now, the emerging trends, if you take in the EV segment, the two-wheeler dominance. India's electric two-wheeler market has seen an exponential growth, driven by rising fuel prices and focus on last mile connectivity. Fleet electrification. Now, fleet operators are increasingly adopting electric commercial vehicles, such as e-rickshaws and delivery vans. These operators are increasing adoption electric commercial vehicles. Now, new business models like EV subscription services are emerging to make EVs more accessible. Autonomous and connected EVs. The integration of autonomous driving and connected technologies in EV is a growing trend in enhancing. Lack of reliable and widespread charging infrastructure, it remains a key barrier to widespread EV adoption in India. As I mentioned earlier, the range anxiety and long charging times. This is also creating challenges. High upfront costs of EV compared to traditional vehicles, as well as limited availability. This is also posing a very serious obstacle for many Indian consumers. So what are the advancements we have? Just want to repeat again, we have the battery technology, we have the train-frame innovations, autonomous capabilities, and charging technologies. So sustainability and environmental impact, we have zero emission, battery recycling, renewable energy. So adoption of electric vehicles, this holds immense potential to drive sustainability and reduce environmental impact. By producing zero emission, EVs can significantly improve air quality. Lack of reliable and widespread charging infrastructure, it is still a key barrier here. High upfront costs of EVs compared to traditional vehicles, this is also a key barrier. Investment opportunities are there in charging infrastructure, battery manufacturing, EV components. What are the specific EV components like motors, inverters, magnetics, control systems, etc. EV startups also funding innovative EV startups that are developing new technologies. Definitely, our present dispensation in India and abroad will be playing a key role in addressing all these hurdles, and I'm sure that the EV market will definitely grow as planned in the coming years. Now, I just like to share some of our success stories in the EV sector. We had notable design wins at Fixed Mobility for power modules. We had very consistent business with them for the last 4 years. In the design win of power modules at Mobility Division of Reliance Jio. Here they have a plan of first converting some of their in-house vehicles to EV. So this design win activity we are conducting in Bangalore, and yesterday also I had a chance of visiting Reliance Jio corporate office in Navi Mumbai to meet their R&D personnel, just to explore future business opportunities. Now, you must have seen in the demo session, we are not certifying this as mill-grade EV power modules, but still, if they are tested and they are successful in the working for rugged applications, they are suitable for the armored vehicles of Army and Navy. So already we are supplying to a company called Versabyte Data Systems for such applications for the last 3 years. We also have new inquiry for power modules from Vikas Group, Volvo, JBM and Best Group. We have had big design wins at Sun Mobility, Ather Energy, Bajaj Auto, Trinity Touch, Ola and Mahindra Electric. So with a strong emphasis on sustained mobility, India has established ambitious targets supported by industry participation and favorable policies. It is expected that total electric passenger production in India will approximately surge to 1.3 million units by 2030. It will account for around 20% of total passenger vehicles, 40 to 45% of all two-wheelers, and 15 to 20% of all four-wheelers sold in India will be electrical. The adoption will be a result of 12 to 13 new two-wheelers and 1 million four-wheeler passengers being sold in India annually. So you can actually see the graph what the progress has been there and what is it going to be in the coming years. Before I conclude, I like to thank the elite audience here who have taken their valuable time off in attending this roadshow, and also take this opportunity to thank the entire Mouser team for giving us an opportunity to present and promote our product lines here, and they have conducted the show very meticulously. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so we have last session. Now we're going to start with, I would like to invite Mr. Naresh Rana, Director for Sales from ADI team, to talk about technologies for automotive electrification and connectivity.
Give me just 30 seconds to put on the screen. Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'm Naresh Rana and I'm Director Sales for Analog Devices. So before I start the presentation, I just wanted to give a brief overview of ADI. So ADI, they started the operations in 1965 and it was started by two classmates of MIT, not Manipal Institute, it's a Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1965, and we have headquarters in Wilmington, which is close to Boston, and we are operating over 31 countries. So ADI, we design, manufacture and market a broad portfolio of solutions which leverage high performance analog, mixed signal and digital signal technologies. We not only make semiconductors, but we also do a lot of software, algorithms and subsystems so that there is a faster time to market for customers. So in a nutshell, ADI is basically converting, conditioning and processing the real world phenomena like speed, data, temperature, sensor, and they convert all of these into real-time data. And we operate from multiple segments like industrial, consumer, aerospace and defense, medical and automotive applications. And today I'm particularly focused on the automotive domain. But before I jump to the technologies in automotive, we observed a new phenomena in after COVID. Like now when the shortages came, so now the designers, when they choose the components, so they are very careful about, they just don't look at the specs of the part, but they also want to know what is the strategy of that company in the manufacturing side. How they are going to mitigate the geopolitical risks and if there is some natural calamity. Or how are they financially and what are their roadmaps. So I thought I'd put 2 slides on our ADI business and then I'll move to the our automotive technologies. So ADI started 60 years back and from like I think $500,000 we are now at $9.4 billion revenue. From just 46 employees in 60 years we are at 24,000 plus employees. And our products, we started with op-amps. So from 3 op-amps now we are at 75,000 products. And how all this happened, it is because of the continuous innovation. We are pumping around $1.5 million of R&D back into our innovation and all these things. So less than 1% of the companies will survive this 60 years long. And sometimes in my mind also comes like why there is no Indian company in large consumer electronics, like we have Apple, Samsung, even Chinese companies like Oppo, Vivo, Xiaomi are there, then Japanese, Sony, but there is no Indian large brands in India. And one of the reasons which I thought is there is no continuous innovation and R&D in, especially in consumer electronic sector. So that is the reason there is no consumer. However, in automotive, you see we have brands there, local Indian brands, and that is because of all the continuous innovation in R&D by the automotive companies. So innovation, continuous R&D is very key to the success of any company. And during this course, we acquired several companies, but few of them I have mentioned here. Hittite we acquired in 2012, and their focus was on RF, millimeter wave, and microwave products. That was a $2 billion acquisition. Then we acquired a linear technology, LTC. They are a very high performance analog company, and they make A to D and D to A converters and other conditioning products. That acquisition was 2015. And last acquisition from ADI, large acquisition was with Maxim. And Maxim, as you know, they are into, again, mixed signal analog in consumer, healthcare and networking domains. So that's about ADI. And I also want to talk about manufacturing strategies. So ADI follows a hybrid manufacturing strategy, which means we have our own manufacturing inside, and we also outsource manufacturing to our partners. And typically any semiconductors, they go through the 2 stages of manufacturing. One is front-end manufacturing, and the second is the back-end manufacturing. So front-end is basically the wafers, the semiconductor wafers we manufacture. So most of our wafer manufacturing is inside ADI, but we also give foundries like TSMC and USMC for wafer business. And in the back end, we also call it ATMP. So ATMP is assembly, test, marking and packaging. So basically all the wafers are packed in a plastic or ceramic package, and a lot of pins are put on that. So that is ATMP. So ATMP also we have it in-house, and we also do it through OSAT. OSAT is like outsourced semiconductor assembly and test. So you might be hearing these words like Tata Electronics, they have put a OSAT. So which means Tata Electronics will get wafers from some other companies like ADI, and then they will manufacture the complete chips for us. So that is a OSAT. And ATMP is primarily an umbrella of this OSAT. So in India you have manufacturing by Indian companies as well as the JVs with the MNCs, and ADI is also a part of this India journey into semiconductor manufacturing. Okay, so a few trends about automotive. Like there are 4 trends which I'm going to talk about. The first trend is this personalized cabin. You can see there's a lot of touch infotainment systems coming up, digital cockpits. So it's like a personalized cabin is like a car is becoming an intelligent companion of human beings. The second trend, electrification. I think the previous speaker spoke a lot about electrification. So all the battery technologies and government subsidies and the charging infrastructure. So there's a good trend on electrification. And third trend is on the real-time ADAS to make our vehicles safer and to make it comfortable. So we are seeing more and more cars are now deployed with real-time ADAS. And the fourth one is the connectivity as a trend, where 5G, V2X communication is being implemented so that you can have over-the-air software updates on that. So now these 4 technology upgrades, trends, the traditional vehicle, it is very difficult to implement all these upcoming trends. So the traditional vehicle follows the domain architecture. Domain architecture means where any application or function-specific ECUs are there. For example, for body you have a different ECU, for lighting you have a different ECU, same way for powertrain, chassis safety, airbags, so everywhere you have a different ECUs. So the structure becomes very complex when you have to implement all these technologies. So now slowly the technologies is moving to the zonal-based structure, where zonal-based is not based on function, but it is on the location. Like all the edge sensors, actuators and sensors from one location, they will be connected to one zonal ECU, which will be connected to one main ECU. So you can see like now car, typically a few years back it was a mechanical product, but now it is an electronic product with so much of electronics inside. And eventually we will be calling car as a software-defined vehicle. Very similar in data centers, we call them like software-defined data centers, software-defined networking, software-defined compute. So same way we will have software-defined vehicles, and more technology, software comes into play in this. Now the key technologies for this domain zonal-based architecture will be, one will be in audio connectivity, second will be in video connectivity, and third one will be the data connectivity. So I'm going to talk about like how ADI is playing a key role in all of these 3 technologies. So let's talk about first the video technology. So if you see, there are so many cameras right now in the cars, and so many display systems. So if you have parallel data to the ECU and parallel data to the display, then there will be so many cables will be needed to just implement this solution. So ADI developed a proprietary technology where the data from the camera or sensor, video data, which is in parallel, it comes to our serializer, we call it gigabit multimedia serial link. And this ADI serializer, this converts the data stream into series, and then it is passed over a single cable, and again it is received by the D-stabilizer, which again converts the data into parallel, and then it goes to the processor. And same way for the display system. So this is used, GMSL technology is used by almost 25 car manufacturers right now, adopted as a de facto standard in video, and primarily used in ADAS, vision system, 360 camera, surround view, and it saves a lot GMSL 1, then 2, and now we are at a 3. So over 1 billion ICs have been shipped in the market for this technology. So the primary difference between 1, 2, and 3 is on the speeds. Like one was 3 gigabit per second, then GMSL 2 6, and now it is latest one which is launched just a few months back is GMSL 3 with 12 Gbps speed. And there are some other technological changes, like for example packet switching, so we have moved to band switching, which is pulse amplitude modulation. And these are the advantages, like if you use GSM 3 on a single wire, then you save substantially on the wiring side. And then also like the new cameras which are coming now with 4 megapixel or 8 megapixel. So you need a GSML 3 kind of technology. Like GSML 3 can go up to 15, they can take 15 megapixel camera inputs and displays of 8K resolutions. So good part of this technology is backward compatible. Let's say if some customer is using GSML 1, they can switch to 2 and 3. So backward pin compatible, backward software compatible, and they are also SLB compliant. So this is a very latest news, so I put it in the slide. So on June 3rd, ADI along with a couple of other car OEMs, tier 1 suppliers and ecosystem partners, we have made this proprietary technology as an open technology. Because we understood that this ADAS systems, now there are more complications and more inputs are needed to design the new ADAS systems. Then on the infotainment side also, you can see that 12 billion hours of content will be consumed in a vehicle by 2030. So we need to do a lot of innovation in this technology, and we also need to reduce the cost. So a group of around 20-25 companies we came and we have made this GSM technology as an open architecture. You can see a few names here, like there are tier 1s like Aptiv, Denso, there are camera manufacturers like Omnivision, Qualcomm is there from the CPU side, then test and measure equipment, Rod and Sword, and also car manufacturers like KDU is making Volvo cars. So this is the benefit of GSM technology. They are able to, it's kind of de facto standard for video. The second technology which I'm going to talk about is the audio technology. So audio is again it's a de facto standard. ADI makes A to B audio bus, and just this picture itself is very clear, like how we are going to benefit from this new technology. In fact, not a good sign for cable manufacturers, but as a technology, it gives a lot of benefit to end consumers. You can see that this is the current design in the cabling. You see all the head end unit is connected to microphones and the speakers, and now there are like 15 to 20 speakers also in a car. So the kind of cabling is required. With A to B, it's just one cable and it is chainly connected, and at least 75% of the cables are not needed with this new technology. And it not only transfers the audio data to speakers and microphones, it also transfers the control, clock, and power also to all of these circuitry. So it reduces system cost, weight, design complexity. So how it is implemented? So it follows the master-slave topology. There is one master, and there will be 10 to 15 slaves, and the distance between the two nodes can be at least 15 meters for this technology. It's very low latency, 50 microseconds, and delivers a very high bandwidth of 50 megabits per second, and it supports 32 discrete upstream and downstream channels. So this is about this technology, and very simple to implement. It is being implemented by customers in premium audio amplifiers. You see all the speakers and other microphones are connected to A to B. And very recently, a new technology is coming up in India also. Customers are trying to evaluate this road noise cancellation. So whatever the noise comes from tires and outside, it can be cancelled with the help of this technology, and you can have a very quiet cabin inside. So a lot of sensors, accelerometers, microphones are placed, and and some anti-noise wave is generated through the speakers, which cancels the outside noise. This is possible because of this latest technology. And now this technology can be in any product. Like I can hear a little bit of air conditioning sound, even that can also be reduced. Even the sound of a mixie or some washing machine. So you can use this technology to reduce the these sounds in consumer and industrial environments as well. Okay, the third technology is again we covered video, we covered audio. The third one is data. So data, of course, like earlier we used to have LIN, CAN, Flex, but the new zonal-based architecture, now you can have an Ethernet inside the cars. And ADI again has a E2B technology, Ethernet to the edge, 10-base T1S technology. So 10-base means 10 stands for 10 megabits per second speed. T1 stands for a single twisted cable pair, and S is for short. Short means for a car. Otherwise, there is another 10-base T1L, which is for industrial application, which goes up to 1 kilometer range. But for automotive, S is sufficient for that. Okay. So what happens in the traditional architecture? You see there's a lot of MCUs on all the sides. There are like hundreds of MCU for each and every sensor node, each and every actuator. But then it creates a lot of complexity, and you cannot have over-the-air updates on the software. So the newer technology, E2B technology, so you don't need microcontrollers on the edges. Just use the ADI E2B technology, and all the software can be on the central MCU. And now you can have very simple architecture of this Ethernet. It makes the design so simple, and literally very low latency and very simple nodes are there because there is no MCU on the edges. So that kind of benefit this E2B technology brings. So it reduces the complexity also of the software development. And of course, since so many connectors and wires are removed, so it helps in increasing the reliability also of the products. So this is just another slide on this, like how the over-the-air software is upgraded in the central CPU in this E2B domain. Otherwise, it is not possible to do in the other architecture. And these are the applications, like you can see in lighting, it is getting very popular. So all the lights, front lights, back lights, ambient lights, all can be connected on Ethernet cable. Then in the powertrains, BMS and inverters, again you can use this E2B technology. In body, like keyless entry, ECUs, displays. In the suspension side, steering, suspension, braking, and any application where you are using sensors, actuators, they can be converted with ECU domain-based to Ethernet-based technology. Okay, so this was all about the three technologies: video, audio, and data. But there is another battery management solutions. I think I don't want to cover in details because the last speaker has covered in details like what is battery management system. Of course, it measures all the cell voltages, back current, and monitors. So since the electronics is a very key part of BMS, and all these features which we have mentioned here has to enable through the electronic side only. So that is where ADI's role comes into play. We are there in this industry for a long time. In fact, top 35 car OEMs, they are in one way or other way using the ADI battery management solutions. And I'll just move to the next slide. In BMS specifically, ADI is always the first one. Like we are the first one to launch 12 channel, then we are the first one to launch this BMS interface ISO SPI, then first fuel sensor monitor, first SND IC. So SND is the very highest level of this standard, and we launched these BMS devices. And ADI is not only SND supported, but it is also SND certified. Because in many companies in datasheet they will write AS side ALD support, but support is different and we certified. It is like you have gone to college, but you have studied, attended all the classes, but not attended the exam. So we are saying it's like we are certified also apart from support. And then we have other wireless also. I think we launched a couple of years back. It's a wireless, so the communication link to the MCU is made wireless. So there's a lot of technology innovation happening in BMS also. And the next thing which is in our plan is EIS, electrolyzers, and algorithms on the edge. So we are trying to innovate continuously on the BMS technology side also. So this is our offerings. Like we have cell monitor chips which are connected to the batteries to monitor all the voltages, currents, temperatures. And we also have multiples, like we have 16 cell, 18 cell, 24 cell, which can be stacked together. Then we have pack monitors to measure the pack current, pack voltage, and overcurrent over charge protections. And we also have ISO SPI, which is the isolated bus, so that the high voltage circuitry don't damage the low voltage side. So that's another important. So altogether, I think apart from that, we also build now algorithms for state of health, state of charge. It is provided by ADI and all the fundamentals and applications. So how do we differ? So we have these ICs from last many years. So a couple of advantages we have is we have a very fast overcurrent detect. So because of that, the MOSFET's life is saved, and you need not have an extra MOSFETs. Then ADI is at a parallel ADC structure. Again, it simplifies the design. We have some low power modes in our products, and we also have current sense. And finally, the accuracy measurement in ADI is very good. So by enabling this highly accurate SOC and SOH, you can maximize the use of your battery under the safety domains. So this is all about our technologies in ADI. In fact, ADI also have other products like power devices, PayMix, A2D, A2C, but that's for another session. And ADI has a very large R&D center. It's a global R&D center in Bangalore. So all these cutting-edge technologies we have built in. Some of the products are built here, and we have a very good support structure for this. And partners like Mouser, I think they are able to shorten the lead times. ADI parts don't have short lead time; they have long lead times normally. So when Mouser kind of companies come into play, so they are able to reduce those lead times because they order to us well in advance, and they are able to make MOQs and support your pilot production, your mass production as well. So it's good to be associated with our Mouser as a partner for our business. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Please give a big round of applause to Mr. So it's time for Q&A. I would like to invite all the speakers to be on stage, and then you can take the questions with everyone. So all the speakers, I request to come on stage, please. Yeah, please, all the speakers, please be seated on the chair.
is for Rishikesh. So I'm curious to know, out of all the V2X activities that you mentioned, which are some of the key and like main activities that are carried at Shalaka in Pune?
Hello. So mostly right now, vehicle to infrastructure is not something that's completely implemented, but few R&D projects are going on. We are trying to collect data from cars and push it to the cloud, basically to pass on to the infrastructure aspect. That's the key one. Vehicle to vehicle is still not being implemented much anywhere. It's more of prototyping as of now.
Yes, but for some of your existing customers or probably new prospects, you might be developing some of this, right?
Yes, so on a prototyping level only as of now.
Okay. And probably like V2X and BMS together could be,
Yes.
bringing up more help and collaboration.
So whether you can call it as vehicle to infrastructure is still a question, because it's nothing but IoT system that connects data and passes it to the cloud.
Yes.
So full-fledged system is not being done yet.
Got it. Great. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. The thing is that I have a question of each and every host. How do I start with? From the first? Okay. Saji, you said like there will be a data sharing within the cars nearby, right? So what happens, for an example, I do not wish to share the data for the car which is behind me. So how do I do that in a real-time scenario? If I do that in a real-time scenario, maybe still in the prototype, so what will happen, like real-time, I would be doing it in front of a screen, it might distract my vision, or probably driving.
So it depends upon what information. Now if it's a live threat, like a vehicle has stopped on the road, having that information on the dashboard is essential. And it may not be in the form of high visuals, but having that information pre-hand is very important. And the aspect of not sharing the data becomes really challenging, then you can't implement this. If everybody comes with the aspect key, I don't want to share the data that my car is collecting, then you cannot receive the data that other cars are collecting. That's how it is. After WhatsApp call, if you close your last scene, you cannot see other person's last scene. It has to be done like that. But the core is, the more you share, the better the system will become.
Okay. Yeah. So second question, you said like the EV cars, the the life cycle of a tire, it is pretty less. So hasn't the manufacturer of the EV vehicles had a study on it?
Of course, they have their own strategy on that particular front, but what happens is the weight of the vehicle is increasing. That's the truth,
okay,
right? So your IC vehicle is at 1,300 kgs today on a normal way. And you look at a EV vehicle, considering the motor weight and BMS and the batteries that has got in it, it goes probably around 1,800 kgs to 2,000 kgs. That of course puts a lot of the stress on the tires and the wheels. Your suspension system has to be improved. The life of the tire has to be improved, because you have to have that the rubber effect on the tires, unless otherwise you will feel a little hard on the road. So manufacturers are of course working on it, but that also put a stress on the consumer, because you can run your car for 20,000 kilometers extra, but you have to probably change the tire after 30,000 or a little bit expand yourself to 35,000. That's the max that you can achieve at the moment. But of course, some of the things are happening on this front. It takes time for you to get to that same level of what you have on the IC engines. That's exactly what I'm finding out. Okay.
And like for the next host, Saji, you said like in a production of the lithium-ion battery. Okay. Next, sir. Yeah. You said like your department is working on a lithium-ion battery, but again, like after some of the research, why anyone has thought about the sodium-ion battery? Because like it is lets heat up and has a almost 3 times more the life cycle than the lithium ion.
So presently, if you see the trend as of now, no, because that will be still a newer technology.
It has started.
It has just started. So there was apprehension for the lithium-ion battery itself all these years.
Okay.
Now you see some stability, although there are some hiccups also. Manufacture, what I said is not our manufacturing, but you can see a lot of projects coming up. In Bangalore also, there's one setup coming up. The only thing is there will be other effects which the present dispensation has to address. There will be pollution, definitely, when the manufacturing starts in India. And in Bangalore, if I take, it is almost, plan is to start near a village, near the international airport. So that is going to be put a stress on the environment also. That has to be addressed. So as of now, I think we are thinking only about lithium ion as of now, because we are seeing some stability, of course with hiccups also.
Fine. So the next question is the next host.
Yeah.
We'll have to give chance to others.
It's just the last one.
Please quickly.
Sati, you said one of its slide, for an analog device, you can eliminate the use of microcontroller for the audio processing. Is this an FPGA on board or how is it?
Yeah, this is Bob.
Yes.
Yeah, so two things. One is for audio and one is for Ethernet. So in Ethernet case, there's a Phi and MAC chip. So then you don't, and the low-level drivers are put in the main ECU. So we don't need any MCU on the edges. And on the audio bus, it is the A to B chip is there, so there is no need of MCU because it directly interacts with the main DSP or this one.
Okay.
Yeah. But I must say, you are alert in all the sessions.
Yes. Thank you. I do not have a question for the last one, but I am really thankful you dropped in from all the way from the Japan here. Very much thanks.
Hello. My question is regarding V2X. So as we are going towards connected vehicles, there is a lot of data which will be interchanged from vehicles to cloud level analytics. So in that context, how is the external threats going to be handled by industry? Like if the data is going to be communicated from vehicle to cloud, there could be an intrusion in between where threats and mishaps can happen. So what are the measures?
So just like for any other technology and for cellular communication, we have different encryption methodologies. We have companies who are formed basically for cybersecurity. The same needs to be implemented in this case. There is nothing different because it's still cellular communication, it's still wireless communication that will happen. So you need encryption at the sending place, encryption on the communication side, decryption at the end, and then even the storage and everything has to be secure enough. So the same role that your data centers play, your service providers who give you SIM cards, what all services they provide you, the same has to be applied here as well. You should treat it as another cell phone sending data.
Hello, yeah. I have a question. So as we move towards standardization, okay, it's been talked about working on an operating system on a large scale for the car, because car is actually becoming a computer itself, right? So in that scenario, how much of you, as experts know, how much of your companies are working in that particular, and anybody can answer this. Operating system for the car.
From a personal experience, I have not worked on the operating system of a car. But if you see most of the electronics that gets in the car usually has a real-time operating system around it. There is no centralized operating system like your Windows or something like that. So it's a distributed system. And if you are looking from a V2X perspective, it's more on sending the data. The data becomes the crux of it, not the operating system aspect of it. So right now, if we look at OS for a car, it's mostly on the infotainment side itself, the high-level operating system that we can do.
Currently, nobody's working as well. Thoughts are there in the process, but
So whatever you see in the industry right now in terms of OS, they are basically using Linux variants as far as what I know of. There is nothing exclusively for the automotive coming up. Even if you look at CarPlay or Android Auto, they are basically applications that run on your infotainment systems.
okay. One more question on the radiation hardening kind of stuff, rad thing. Mostly for the component manufacturers. So are you actually working for the automotive standards going towards the radiation hardening? Because this is making more prominent, It's just limited to space applications as of now. But are we progressing in that particular arena?
Actually, it is other way. It is other way. I have not seen any radiation hardened products for automotive, but we make these products for satellites applications. All the LEO, MEO, and GEO satellites. So all the GEO satellites definitely use red hat parts. But the recent trend after this SpaceX and a lot of LEO satellites which are at a 200, 500 meter range, now they are saying like, why should I use such a super expensive red hat part for a satellite which is going to be there just for 2 years or 3 years of lifetime? Why can't I use a quality part but not red hat parts? So they are going for automotive grade. They are saying, okay, AECQ 100 qualified part is okay for me. So that is my information now.
So my question is about V2X communication. What are the types of protocols, communication protocols that are being used around the world for V2X communication, and which one is the one taking traction in India? Like the trend going on in India for V2X communication protocol.
So you mean vehicle to vehicle is done on directed shortwave communication. So basically it's a custom protocol that's being used right now. There is no standardization over there. That's the main challenge. There is no standardization. And if you look at connectivity to the cloud, they are using cellular communication. It comes with either MQTT or HTTPS for the automotive part.
Okay, so such is the case with India, or is it around the world? Like
it's
not in Europe also?
It's across the world.
Thank you.
Hi. So I don't have a question for you. I just have to answer the car OS question which was asked by a colleague. So the car OS technology, I don't know, in India someone is working on this OS specifically for cars or automobiles. But there are OEMs which are working on it. I have read an article from Volkswagen who is specifically working for OS technology for the cars, and they are going to giving it to the other OEMs as well in future. Same is the case for some other companies as well. So it's going to come, but I think India has the chance of building this new OS for automobile.
I'll add one more point to that. Basically what happens is on the OS side, there were few American companies started working with Cisco for developing certain operating systems, but they did not move beyond, considering the impact that it creates on the tier 1 and tier 2 manufacturers. So I think it kind of shelled out.
Yeah, just a quick comment on the Volkswagen part. Although I'm not an expert by any means, but Volkswagen itself is looking to now source a lot of their subsystems from China and use those platforms. So I really doubt that it will continue to invest. But my question to the panel, please, is more about an observation. We of course saw a lot of things that 30% sales by 2030 should be electric, and everybody had some comments on the bullishness. Myself, I am a believer. I own an EV myself. So this is not supposed to be cynical in any way. Please forgive me if it conveys that impression. But the question is, an EV, let's say a four-wheeler, basic four-wheeler, consumes so much power at a given instant when it is charging that it can equate to, for example, the power consumed by the whole building I live in. Let's say I live in a 6-story, 8-story, 10-story building and there are 30 flats, 40 flats. Each is pulling 1 kilowatt hour at any given point in time on a typical day like today. My car itself might pull 60, 70 kilowatts now for the next 1 hour. It doesn't like what I'm saying. Maybe. So I'll come to my question. Because you're involved in this industry, perhaps participating events like this, government organized symposiums, synchronizing with government departments, what do you see is going to be the point of failure? For us, it looks like the electricity grid will take a long time to kind of scale up to the point where, for example, buses, trucks and whatnot will also need to be charged on this 30%, those sort of projections. How do you see and feel we stand as a country or as a society on that front? That is my question. Sorry if I made it long.
Let me start with a little bit of an input from my side. Of course, we have a lot of problem with respect to electricity availability on a continuous scale, on a 24-hour basis, on any given point of time. But however, there are efforts being put in with respect to setting up battery energy storage systems, in terms of telecom infrastructure, as well as the energy infrastructure in few of the cities where the companies are gearing up to meet the demand surge in that particular period. For example, there is a surge that happens from probably 8 o'clock in the evening, it goes all the way till 6 o'clock. There are companies like Tata's and Reliance setting up those infrastructures to meet those surge in demand. So this is something that's happening on a private level, also on a government level with the help of PLI and stuff like that. It's happening. But are we there yet? No, we don't know the answer yet.
Actually, like if you see Indian government, especially on the solar side, they are investing a lot. And in last, I think in last couple of years, there are mega projects announced, gigawatt kind of projects announced, and in future also there is a huge planning for adding solar infrastructure. Secondly, government is also working on the power efficiency side, so that all these electrical components and electronic products, they consume less and less power. So this is going to help. If you see the overall situation, power situation, whether it is electricity, EV or not, it has improved in last 20 years. But the pace with which it should have improved is not done. It's very similar to our traffic structure. Like there's a traffic, so government will put a flyover. But by the time the flyover is made, there is so much of traffic that you will have traffic on the flyover also. So I think the pace is, we can say, a little bit slow, not as per our desire. But the things are in the positive improvement side only for everything.
Alright, in the constraint of time, we'll have 2 questions to be added now.
I just want to add one thing on the previous question. Not only the charging, you have even battery swapping today. That facility is there, especially for 2-wheelers. After standardization, I think for 4-wheelers also, it will help. So that will be an alternate. What you are telling, charging in the house, is definitely, consumption is more, but battery swapping activity will definitely play a big role in the coming years.
Thank you, sir. So as I said, we'll have 2 more questions. After that, we have speakers around us. We can have a chat with them during lunch. We have lunch ready. After this Q&A, we'll have a vote of thank and then closing.
Last 2 questions.
Last 2 questions. I have a question regarding the V2X and ADAS features, which is highly kind of adopted in the automotive sectors. So how you can oversee and visualize that into the 2-wheeler market? Can you give some insights?
So most of the sensors that can get into a car can be installed on a 2-wheeler as well. The only challenge is the form factor that we get. So for example, you have a lidar sensing to measure how far the vehicle is. So Ducati already has the Multistrada V4, which has the lidar sensors and adaptive cruise control already in. So the only challenge is the real estate that is available able to install these sensors. The rest of the technology can almost remain the same. Thank you.
Last question?
Last question, yeah.
Yeah, rather it's well, not question, but I would like to answer you if I may. I'm a professor in electrical engineering department. I'm head of power quality cell. So as you rightly said, I am working on that. There is going to be a tremendous stress on the electricity, and as electronics or computer moves, electricity infrastructure doesn't move. Plus, I am also seeing due to EV charger, there are LED bulbs are failing, TV units are failing, microwaves are failing, especially wherever there is a PMC charging depot. Nearby buildings are getting lot of problems, and I am trying to solve that by measuring. So I also want to know that is there anything being done from EV charging infrastructure so that they will not inject supraharmonics and transients, which this is going to be problem. And plus the transformer needs to be upgraded, the lines need to be upgraded, which is going to be very slow. And additional, sorry to say Indian problem, we use normal outlet which is going to cause electrical safety and fire problem. That is a bigger one. Instead of, we should not have a good technology, we should have a safe technology. Okay.
All right, thank you everyone. Thank you all the speakers for patiently listening and answering all the questions. Thank you so much for coming all the way. Yeah. So I'd like to call Payal on stage to give word of thanks.
Thank you so much, Wasim, being a wonderful host. So, on behalf of Mouser Electronics, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Rishikesh Kamath from Shalaka Technologies. Mr. Satish from Molex. Mr. K and team from Tayo Uden. Mr. K. Mr. Sesha from Belfuse. And Mr. Naresh Rana from ADI. I would also like to thank our team, Wasim, Rishikesh, Rahima and Saurav for their continued support, Atul and team from EFY for organizing this event and ensuring a smooth transition, and last but not the least, our audience for attending the event and making it successful. As we conclude, we can now proceed for networking lunch and product display. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you.
जो लिंक है वो बाद में ओपन होता है ऑल इंडिया चालू है ऑल इंडिया चालू है हाँ